who has played extremely well. He's their top plus-minus guy.
Wristed it by Tom Barrasso, and the Calgary Flames get the first goal of the game.
Well, Francois Leroux coughed it up in the neutral zone. The Flames have been playing that neutral zone trap here against the Penguins tonight, and they've been trying to force turnovers at center ice. And Turgayev was able to just take that giveaway by Leroux and carry it in and blow it right past Tom Barrasso. And here it is right here. He just put pressure. Leroux had no idea it was coming. He had his back to him, and he just tried to backhand it through the middle. And he probably should have just been pushing it up ice there. You don't want to be throwing one through the neutral zone like that. And Turgayev just took advantage of it and makes it 1-0.
Turgayev with that shot from about 20 feet away on Barrasso from the right wing circle. And so Calgary takes that against Vancouver. 10:06 to go in the first. No score. Or pardon me, 1-0.
Wherever the fun is, that's where you'll find JVC. JVC.
Hi, I'm John Wells. The power play, it's Adam Foote who moves in, takes the shot, and scores his 5th of the year to tie the game at 2. And then, moments after that, the puck goes back to Foote again, who takes the shot from the point. This time it's tipped in by Valery Kamensky, and Colorado with 2 quick goals now has a 3-2 lead on Chicago. Now back to Calgary with Mike Lang and Paul Steigerwald.
And that was a 3-on-1 that really never even developed. And you can't really blame Peter. I mean, I think Yags yelled for the puck, wanted it early, and he might have been better off just carrying it a couple of more strides and really letting that play.
Joe Louis Arena. Look at the move here by Vladimir Konstantinov. Everyone goes to Sergei Fedorov, and it's just Konstantinov in the slot, a backhand. He scores 5 straight goals by the Wings in this game. They lead 5-1 in the third. Let's go back to Calgary.
Now, Smollett. Huskra from center ice, looking to steer it over to Paul Cruz, and Cruz now will dump it into the far corner, cleared by Francois Leroux. And we've got one of the Flames is hurt, Sandy McCarthy. Leroux broke his stick. McCarthy comes after him, and they're going to go. McCarthy and Francois Leroux. Leroux apparently broke his stick over. McCarthy's one of the real tough guys in this league, and Leroux. That's 6-6. McCarthy appears to be a little stunned before he even came to fight. And here's Leroux with a solid right on McCarthy. Francois Leroux and Sandy McCarthy battling. And on left by McCarthy.
I heard that Donald Brashear got involved with him recently, Mike, and ran away. I mean, it got to the point where he didn't want any part of him after a while.
McCarthy coming back. And Leroux steers him up against the glass. And now Leroux went down, and McCarthy hits him on the right. Down he goes. Leroux got the early punches in, and McCarthy got the last one. Boy, those are 2 big, strong guys.
And you can see the stick of McCarthy back in the corner, broken off up by the handle. You rarely see a stick broken in that spot. Look where it's broken. Normally a stick will be broken in half.
I think that's Frankie's stick.
Is it?
Yep. I think that's Leroux's stick. We'll wait and see what happens here. If you'll keep an eye on the stick in front of the Penguin bench and see what they do with it. Gary Roberts found the loose puck. 2-0 Calgary. Well, the Penguins couldn't get it away from the net. I think Roberts is the man that tapped it home, and it's 2-0 Calgary. Man.
Barrasso made that first save on Trent Yanni. I think it went off his skate. He just was scrambling over to stop the shot, and it went off the inside of his left skate and carried him right over to where Roberts could get the rebound. Good play off the boards. Watch here, Yanni's shot. See how it went in a different direction than you would expect, but Roberts showing good, quick hands as he took that rebound along the goal line and quickly turned it over to the backhand and dumped it into the net before Barrasso had any time to even realize where that puck had gone. And he does have some quick hands around the net. Gary Roberts with his 14th goal of the season at 12:08.
Taking the pregame warm-up with his new team, the St. Louis Blues. We will have live coverage of the Blues and the Canucks coming up in about 25 minutes time as Wayne Gretzky makes his debut with his 3rd National Hockey League team. That's coming up in a few moments, but right now let's send you back to Calgary for the Flames and the Penguins. Dressing room getting set for his team to face the Vancouver Canucks in Gretzky's St. Louis debut. 7.5 years ago, he carried Wayne Gretzky's LA debut, and he scored against Detroit. Rolling, it still is. Knocked down the line by Duchesne to Nichols, just inside the line. Carpenter's loose in front. Here's Taylor at the side of the net to Gretzky. Scores! As an NHL boss, of course, he had Danny Savard in Chicago. He had Mark Messier with New York, and in St. Louis, he's had Brett Hull. But now he has the greatest of them all, as GM Mike Keenan acquired Wayne Gretzky for Mike Keenan, the head coach. And tonight, Wayne Gretzky makes his debut. A game we'll show to you in just a few moments. But first, Gary Green with the coach and GM of the Blues, Mike Keenan.
Well, ask Brett Hull what I should ask you, and you know he's going to have an answer for me. He said, well, ask Mike why he hasn't taken that grin off of his face and why he's been wearing a tie every place.
Well, I think that Brett Hull's got a grin on his face that's much bigger than mine, and he's extremely ecstatic about having Wayne here, as are the rest of the team.
Well, you coached Wayne Gretzky in Canada Cups. You coached against him in Stanley Cup finals. What is it that you've always been so excited about?
Well, it's his ability, first of all, and his vision as a player certainly is unprecedented. His ability to see the play and see the ice, and most importantly, his leadership amongst men. And we're extremely happy to have him in our locker room.
Is that something right now, that leadership that has been lacking with this hockey club, Mike?
I can't say we lack in leadership, but we lack that individual to bring it all together. We've had so many individuals who have performed well. A dozen of them won the Stanley Cup, major roles in certain teams, all-star players in our club, but we needed someone to bring it all together, and we know that Wayne's going to do that.
A lot of talk about Wayne Gretzky, obviously, but Brett Hull has scored 86 goals in this league when he had a top-notch center iceman. How much of your focus was on helping Brett out?
Well, we felt it would be really important for the franchise and for the hockey club if we could do something like this to get the best out of Brett. Not that Brett hasn't played hard. He's played very hard for us, but we felt we could really maximize his abilities if we can get him the puck more often and in better situations. And that's why he's got that smile on his face.
Speaking about maximizing offensive production, what about the power play?
Well, that's another addition, and Grant Fuhr put it best. He said, you know, if we'd score more goals and at least one goal a game now because of Wayne, in addition to what we've scored, we could probably put another 15, 20 points up on the board in addition to what we have. So the thing that we thought we'd have most in terms of how we were shaping this team was offense. The thing we thought we had least was defense, and it turned out to be the opposite.
Well, Mike, we're all looking forward to this game tonight, and I'm sure you are too. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And another thing for Wayne Gretzky tonight, Mike Keenan likely to give him a lot more ice time than he ever got in LA. When we come back, Bob McKenzie will talk with Brett Hull, but first a look back at another great Gretzky moment against the Vancouver Canucks. It was the night that Wayne Gretzky became the NHL's all-time leading goal scorer.
The draw, and here's Lowe, lifting it up the glass to the line. Duchesne knocked it down, golfs it to the side of the net. Taylor to Gretzky, he scores! Wayne Gretzky has tied it and broken Gordie Howe's record.
And who will play on his right side, Brett Hull, who spoke earlier with TSN's Bob McKenzie.
Thanks very much, Gord. Brett, have you ever played a game with the St. Louis Blues that you're looking forward to as much as you are tonight?
I obviously not. I mean, I could look at the first one I played when I was traded from Calgary, and the anticipation of starting my career, being a regular player and being a big part of it, I was anticipating that, but obviously not. To be able to play with the greatest player to ever play is certainly something to look forward to.
Well, now everybody talks about Gretzky and they talk about Hull, and everybody's expecting big things. Should there be an adjustment period? Is it going to take a while for you guys to get some chemistry going here?
Well, I think to get that fine-tuning, it'll take some time, but I don't, when you've got a guy with his ability, I mean, he plays with so many great people. I don't see how I could, you know, really screw up the way he plays, because I just have to get open just like everyone else who plays with him. So I don't think there'll be a big adjustment time, but just for that fine-tuning for the little things, I think there might be.
Now, what I'm having a tough time with is expectation level, not just for Wayne Gretzky, the 35-year-old guy coming to a new team, but also for this hockey team. Why don't you tell us, what should the expectation be for this St. Louis Blue team as this regular season winds down and then into the playoffs?
Well, I don't think the expectations, at least that I'm thinking of, certainly are not personal whatsoever. The stats that we end up with the year, we're just going to take, and whatever happens, happens. But we're looking for wins. We're looking for getting this team together on a roll. We're going to, obviously, Mike's going to try to incorporate Wayne into the fold so that he creates as much positive, towards winning hockey games. And I think that's the most important thing. And so we can hit our stride come the first playoff game, all gelling the same way and understanding how Wayne plays and how we're going to work together. And I think that is our main goal.
Tough question. Quick answer. St. Louis Blues, a top Stanley Cup contender this year?
I believe so right now.
Well, you go out and have a good time tonight and start proving it.
All right, thanks very much, guys. And we will get you set for Wayne Gretzky's St. Louis Blue debut in just a moment as we get set for the NHL tonight, the Canucks and Gretzky's Blue.
St. Louis, henceforth known as Wayne's World. And who's happier because of this situation? Brett, Mike, or how about number 99 himself? The legend all started in Edmonton, small town Canada, so to speak, goes on the map big time with 4 Stanley Cups. The first trade was a national shock, but great expectations were soon fulfilled in LA. Wayne made hockey in Hollywood a happening, setting scene, scoring records, and taking the Kings to the 1993 Stanley Cup final against Montreal. Monday's trade, not as big a shock, but can he bring magic to Missouri? Well, he probably should. 99 has a Keenan connection that worked for a couple of Canada Cup victories. And the last time that Brett Hull had a setup man of this caliber, Adam Oates, Hull and Oates. And Hull had 86 goals. And what about the 99 impact on a couple of veterans anxious for another cup? Tonight, time to add another bar to the Blues beat. Wayne Gretzky debuts for St. Louis next on TSN. All the talks about 99, but don't forget about 89. He's got 49, going for 50 tonight. The Canucks struggle here at the garage. They got to get it rolling, and they better not forget about 99 like they did 66 on Tuesday when they were deep sixth. There he is in a Blues uniform. The jersey is tucked in. The nerves are tight. It is Gretzky's Blue period. Picasso he's not, but man, the guy is an artist on the ice. Get set. St. Louis, Vancouver coming up. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the show, the big show, Wayne Gretzky's debut with the St. Louis Blues. Bit of hockey history. You look back at Wayne's career, we talked with him about it earlier. Edmonton, they built a team around him. Likewise with LA. Here it's a little different, Gary. They're not building the team around him this time.
Well, here's what he's going to add. First of all, he's going to add that leadership. He's going to bring every last player on the Blues game up a couple of notches, but he's also going to help Brett Hull considerably. Remember when Brett Hull scored 86 goals? He had Adam Oates with him. Oates scored 90 assists that year. Well, Gretzky always gets 90 assists. In fact, 13 out of his 16 seasons. He's had 90 or more assists. And this year with the Los Angeles Kings, he was going to have 90 assists. I think Brett Hull's going to really light it up.
It makes St. Louis a much better team, obviously, but I tell you what, a lot of people will tell you when you put Vancouver and St. Louis side by each, Vancouver is a better team.
Well, I'll tell you what, if the Vancouver Canucks win tonight, they are a better team because they'll be 1 point ahead of the St. Louis Blues. They've got something in their bag right now, though. The Pavel Bure factor. Pavel Bure started skating Monday with his hockey club. He's going to have an MRI in a couple of weeks. They're not going to jeopardize his career by bringing him back too early, but I'll tell you what, if he is in fact ready for the playoffs, that's a huge advantage for the Canucks.
Yeah, Pavel, a 2-time 60-goal scorer with this team. Alexander McGillney is going for number 50 tonight. Will be only the second Canuck to reach that milestone. Lots of numbers, 89 with 49, 99. We'll see what kind of numbers we can stack up tonight. You've been watching 66 play. Let's see what's going on with Gordon Miller.
All right, thanks very much. And the focus is on number 99 tonight. Welcome back to our NHL Tonight Control Center. Bob McKenzie is in Vancouver. We'll check in with him in our second intermission. There are 5 other games going on in the NHL tonight, and there has also been a trade to talk about in the NHL. About an hour and a half ago, Cliff Fletcher of the Toronto Maple Leafs made a deal with Neil Smith of the Rangers. Wayne Presley and Nick Kyprios are on their way to Toronto in exchange for 2 veterans, Bill Berg and Sergio Momesso. Cliff Fletcher told me about an hour ago that he made the deal of these two backline players, hoping to get some spark for his team, which struggled again last night, losing 4-3 to Winnipeg after blowing a 3-1 lead. Let's take you through the scores tonight. Detroit scores 4 times in the second period. 5 unanswered goals for the Wings, who beat the Islanders by a score of 5-1. That's 12 straight wins at home for Detroit. They finished February at 11-2. In overtime, the Caps and the Cats. Rob Niedermeyer has scored 2 for Florida. Florida has won 3 of the previous 4 meetings between these two. If the season ended today, this would be a first-round playoff matchup. Colorado leads Chicago by a score of 3-2. Adam Foote tied it in the second and then set up the go-ahead goal by Valerie Kamensky. The Hawks have lost 3 straight. Colorado has won 6 in a row. The game we showed you the first period of a moment ago, Calgary with a 2-0 lead on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yager and Lemieux come into this game having scored 11 goals between them in the last 3 games, but the Penguins have just 4 wins in their last 21 visits to Calgary. When we come back, Gretzky's debut with St. Louis.
Molson NHL Tonight on TSN is brought to you by new Molson Ultra, wickedly smooth beer. By new 7-Up Light, clear your mind. And by Advantage Long Distance Services from the Alliance of Canada's only full-service telecommunications companies.
Wayne Gretzky is listening to the national anthem, the Blues Brothers, when we come back. Well, the Blues have been pretty good without Gretzky on the road, 4-0-1, and Grant Fuhr has been dynamite, allowing just over 2 goals a game over his last 8 starts. We mentioned Alexander McGillney, something of a forgotten man tonight. He's got 16 points in his last 7 games. Wayne Gretzky has scored more points against the Vancouver Canucks than he has against any other NHL team, and tonight he begins his career with his 3rd NHL club. The St. Louis chapter of the Gretzky story begins. Let's take it out at General Motors Place to Paul Romanek and Gary Green.
And the Canucks have been one of Wayne Gretzky's favorite whipping boys over his career, so he's got a great team to start things up against. Although, you know what? Doesn't matter who he's playing against. He is so pumped for this game. Expect great things from a great big game player. Grant Fuhr starting in goal, 2 goals against or less in 29 of those 61 starts. He has started every single game. At the other end, Kurt McLean, who gave up Wayne Gretzky's 802nd career goal to make him the all-time leading goal scorer in the NHL in March of 1994. Starting goaltenders brought to you by Kellogg's, the best to you each morning. Dan Maroelli will drop the puck. Brad Lazarowicz and Jay Scherer's on the lines, and we are set to go. Gretzky facing off against Linden, and it's the matchup you thought you'd see. Gretzky against Linden, but Gretzky out there with Corson and Hull. Here's Jelena, who's out there with Linden and Tikkanen. McInnes. Puck cleared up ahead. And the puck knocked down. Here's Hull. Fired it up there. No help from Gretzky there. Gretzky knifes one in towards the net, knocked away. And here comes Linden. Drops it back. Courtnall coming out with it. Moves it up ahead. Linden with Jelena. Looking. Fired that one up. Hull is up on the left-hand side. And Corson doesn't get any further than the blue line. Intended for Noonan, but picked off. Merzen comes in, and offside called on Vancouver.
Well, Mike Keenan says that he's pretty committed right now to keeping this line together, and that's Corson, Gretzky, and Hull. But, of course, we know from Mike Keenan's past that he hasn't been too committed to ever keeping too many line combinations intact, but he knows that he's going to have to, right now, wait and see. There's the man that expects to set Brett Hull up a fair amount. Wayne Gretzky said, hey, I'm just going to keep looking for Brett Hull, and I told him, don't give it back to me, just shoot. Well, Brett Hull had the big grin on his face today, and he started off the first shift with this opportunity. Whoa.
Didn't need a pass from Gretzky there. He just picked it up himself. Here's Pronger. Tikkanen trying to keep it in. The St. Louis Blues, horrendous offensively. Only 2 other teams in the league have scored less than St. Louis.
Well, Ricky Lee is concerned about one thing with his hockey club, and that is making sure that they play better defensively. Against the Pittsburgh Penguins the other night, he wanted them to make sure that they didn't give up 2-on-1s and played together well as a 5-man unit. Well, the first 20 seconds, they gave up a 2-on-1. What did they do tonight? He wanted them to attack the St. Louis Blues in the same fashion. And right away, they gave up a scoring opportunity in the first shift to Brett Hull.
Here's Pearson moving up after it. Howardchuk hanging back high in the slot. Hudson up there as well, trying to help out. Here's Hudson to Howardchuk. Trying to get it back to Hudson. He's all tied up. Pearson moves up there, number 27, jabbing at it. Howardchuk tried to come out, but Tikkanen will start back. He has McGillney with him. McGillney with 49 in the year, moving in, trying to fender it through there to Tikkanen, but knocked out. This is Tikkanen. Little bit of room. Fuhrer kicked that one away. Good low shot. Lining up there after it. Pronger will pick it up. Puck comes out high. Trying to get it on goal. Ojek was moving in. Kuchera pounds the puck up. And here's Pearson. Kuchera just fires it across. Ojek up after it.
McGillney finally got off the ice. He and Ronnie had been out there way too long.
Puck comes back just off the stick of Walker in front. O'Coin moves it up. Here's Kuchera striding up after it. Is tapping it down into St. Louis territory. And away comes Gretzky. Gretzky drops it to Corson. Dropped it back towards the front of the net. Knocked away. Gretzky's down low back of the net. Hull gets it to him. Gretzky trying to get it in front to Hull. He's got it again. Gretzky to Hull. Couldn't bury it that time. And listen for that combination. I bet you'll hear a lot of it. Gretzky to Hull. But look for Challenger right now. Shoots. A bullet intended for the short side. Pass comes up. Hull with it. Gretzky going down the middle. He'll take it right in the tape. Gretzky rolls it through, and Kirk McLean taking it. Corson up there after him. Here's Gretzky in front. Puck fired. What a stop by McLean. He got back there to stop Barron.
In the Western Conference meeting tonight in Chicago. And look at the play by Jeremy Roenick to get it to Tony Amonte. His 22nd of the year ties the game early in the third.
Oh, what a save by Kirk McLean. Unbelievable. He buried himself and then dug himself out of the hole.
Well, he sure did. Watch the way he handled the puck. Now, he went behind and he realized there were two blue sweaters, Corson and Hull. What a save. He got back just in time. He looked. He saw the puck. Barron thought he had an empty net, but all of a sudden McLean was there without a stick and yet made the save.
And they won't be calling Murray the Red Baron after missing the target like that.
Well, you saw that combination, though, of Hull and Corson and Gretzky go to work. This man has gone to work all year long. Alexander McGillney has played solidly for the Vancouver Canucks. Really likes the fact that he's been playing mostly with Ronning, and now that line with Tikkanen, Ronning, and McGillney together has got some nice chemistry to it, and you can see that Rick Lee has no intentions right now of changing. Those two lines that he had, Jelena, Linden, and Courtnall, and Tikkanen, Ronning, and McGillney are intact.
Gretzky out there again with Corson and Hull. What do you know? Mike Keenan has kept this line intact. Here's Hull getting it in front, bounced off of Gretzky's skate. Courtnall up ahead, offside. Linden was coming in the right wing, just a stride ahead.
Well, I wonder how much Mike Keenan will ease Wayne Gretzky into the lineup tonight. I can remember when he made that deal ending up getting Kravchuk, and in Kravchuk's first game, I think he played 31 minutes. Mike really eased him into the lineup that night. I think Gretzky, Hull, and Corson are going to see almost as much ice time tonight. The guys that might be a little upset are the third and fourth liners who aren't seeing a lot of ice time with Mike as it is. How little will they see now with Wayne Gretzky here?
Hey, better to get him in your lineup if he's running up the points against you.
Mike Keenan has always used a short bench, and the stars of the game love that.
So do the fans. Come to watch the Stars. Buck bounced up. Howardchuk takes his man out. Brett Hedican back there to pick it up. Buck just bouncing away from Stoyanov. Howardchuk tried to move it across. Stoyanov, number 8, trying to come away for Vancouver. 0-0. Played under 5 minutes. And Pearson comes up after Blues and a change, so Pearson up there pretty much by himself. Did some good work along the boards, but can't come up with it. Ronning darts out there up to Stoyanov. Pass was behind Merzen. Here's Ronning again. Long puck snapped across there to Jelena. He'll move in around Pronger, right in front of the net here with a nice stop. Great effort by Jelena. He's finally pulled down, and a penalty coming up. Martin Jelena, in the midst of the best season of his career, with a nice drive to the net on that play.
Jelena's really got confidence this year. He's been playing a lot and playing with good players. Watch the way he broke to the net. He cut in. He was able to avoid the check, the stick check, and was able to get that backhand away before he went sprawling to the ice. He drew a penalty. So the Canucks will have their opportunity on the power play. Kravchuk taking the hooking penalty.
And Jelena, of course, as you've no doubt heard the last couple of days, great answer to a trivia question, was part of the initial deal that saw Wayne Gretzky go from Edmonton down to Los Angeles. So it is power play time for the Vancouver Canucks. And Wayne Gretzky out there in a penalty-killing role with Brett Hull. How's that for aggressive? And how's that for a chance? And how's that for a stop by Fuhrer? Linden was right up there. Here's Lume. Linden high in the slot. Tikkanen couldn't get it to him. Puck just cleared down the ice. 1:30 to go on the power play. Tikkanen to Rolin. Linden, Lume, McGillney, they all hit the line. Tikkanen going to the front of the net, drop back. Lume tried to come in. Corson will pick it up. Long pass up ahead, a little bit too far for Howardchuk.
Good play by McLean.
Great play by McLean to get it up to McGillney. .57 seconds to go on the power play. Canucks with the man advantage. Ronning. Trying to bat it in there. Sezel gets back there first for St. Louis. Back to the line, but not out. Kuchera ready, set, shot. Kicked away by Fuhrer. O'Coin moves it up there. Ronning, burrowing along the boards, trying to get it loose. And another penalty coming up. And it's going to be a slashing call. 32 seconds still to go in the initial power play for the Vancouver Canucks. And they will now enjoy a two-man advantage.
You see Wells going to the box. Watch why. First of all, he gave Ronning a pretty rough treatment there with the glove in the face, and then the stick was high.
And offsetting Miners, Ronning goes off too, so the one-man advantage will maintain. Let's check out action in Calgary.
All right, thanks very much, Paul. Look at the poor clearing here by the Pittsburgh Penguins. Mario Lemieux is part of it. Pittsburgh can't get the puck out. German Titov finds it, moves in, and scores. And Calgary's really put it to Pittsburgh, 3-0.
0-0 here, 13:30 to go in the first period. Offsetting Miners to Wells and Ronning. So Vancouver still in the power play. 25 seconds to go on the man advantage.
It's amazing that this Vancouver team can just be so mediocre overall in the league, 15th on the power play, but yet when they go on the road, they're great, second best on the power play in the league on the road.
3 for 18 on the power play in the last 5 games. Here's Courtnall. Courtnall still. Bit of traffic out in front of Fuhrer, but he couldn't get the payload up there. Hull was trying to get away. Here's Gretzky. And Gretzky knocked down. That gets a response from the crowd and from Gretzky, who had a few words to say to the referee. Baranek fired that one in wide, and another penalty coming up. .12:43 to go in the first. Zeros will start up the penalty for you when we come back. Canada, Chrysler, proud to be an official sponsor of the Canadian Olympic team. Too many men in the ice penalty called on the St. Louis Blues. Back-to-back power plays for Vancouver. Here's Lume. Up ahead, Linden. He was knocked down by Barron.
One thing the Canucks will have to be careful of playing the Blues. Shorthanded goals on the road. They lead the league. 7 shorthanded goals this season.
Lots of time to go on the power play. 1:34 as Trevor Linden leads the charge. Coming in, McGillney going to the front of the net. Tikkanen's up there too. Linden battling Barron. Here's Lume. Linden's parked down in front. Rollins at the high point. Lume trying to move in as well. Linden in the slot now. Rollins tucks it back up there.
This is different for Mike Keenan, playing a very disciplined box.
Puck tapped in front. Linden shooting. He's robbed by Fuhr.
Mike Keenan's teams have always killed penalties very aggressively. Now, mind you, they have been killing penalties, it seems, for most of this first period. But they, on that opportunity, were really in a very defensive mode. They were not pressing at all. They were just trying to keep that puck from coming into the middle. You can see the Canucks were moving it around well, but they didn't want to shoot. Not until they got that opportunity, but you could see that even when that puck ended up going into the slot, that there was no way that anyone could get it away very quickly. Good tight box killing the penalties for the Blues. This guy has just been sensational this year. Mike Keenan can't say enough about him.
Here's Kuchera up to Courtnall. 50 seconds left in the power play. Courtnall fires it up. Baranek trying to orientate himself there in front. O'Coin rolls it up around. Jelena comes up looking for it. Here's Jelena. Up to the side. Baranek moving in. And the puck is rolled right through the front there. Here's Courtnall. Courtnall tucks it down low. Baranek trying to center a nice play there. As Trapp dropped down in front to block the pass. 15 seconds left in the power play.
Well, playing a tight lower box, as the Blues were doing, Chris Pronger really got caught out of position. He went way too high, right out of position.
5 seconds left in the power play. Baranek spun around. And Courtnall just let it go. He'd have been offside. Penalized player back on the teams at even strength, and Vancouver called for icing.
Grant Fuhr probably will not start every game this season. Mike Keenan has said that Grant Fuhr is going to get a bit of a rest. I don't think that that will be a long rest by any means, but because Casey is up now, Casey's been playing for Mike Keenan's team in the minors, he's now going to see an opportunity. But Grant Fuhr has been the man this year for the St. Louis Blues, and I don't think an awful lot of people thought that Grant Fuhr had the abilities to come back and play like he did when he was first in the National Hockey League, and as Jeff Courtnall said today, he's playing like he did in junior hockey. He's just been great.
Puck up ahead, Hedican trying to come in. Walker slides it up there. Barron picks it up. Adam Creighton. Here's McInnes moving up. McInnes had a tap by him, but Matteau was there to cover. Walker tried to get to it. Just knocked back outside the blue line. Dowd trying to buy a bit of time, and what he bought was a bit of a crunch into the boards, and everyone open to discuss the issue. 10:01 to go in the first period here. 0-0 hockey game. Let's check out action elsewhere. Here's Gord Miller.
Well, Paul, this one goes under the category of whoops. Patrick Waugh misplays it, in fact, gives the puck to Eric Daza. He sets it up to Murray Craven, and that gives the Chicago Blackhawks the go-ahead goal.
Well, Pavel Bure skating again, and that is a reason for optimism for Vancouver fans. Mike Ridley still with that problem back injury. Jeff Courtnall really wanted to play in this game. He has a removable cast and was set to go, but the Canucks deciding discretion the better part of valor on that occasion.
Some people think a couple of weeks for Jeff Courtnall, but talking to him today, it sounds like it's going to be a lot sooner than that.
Pearson up there for Hudson. Corson up to help out. Hudson bump there. Pearson gets it to Hudson. Little hack there from Corson trying to get it loose. Hudson centered it. It hits O'Coin, and he hits it off the boards and out. This is Bronner.
Rob Pearson's getting lots of opportunity under Mike Keenan. He's getting, what would you call, a second or third chance. He knows, though, that it may be his last chance. He's got to play well, and so far, so good.
Cliff Ronning fires it in. Courtnall hustling up there hard. McInnes gets there first, and icing called on Vancouver. Just to go back to that point you were making, Gary, about Grant Fuhr. Interesting to note the deciding factor for Mike Keenan on deciding to sign Grant Fuhr, get him with St. Louis. He had a coffee with Wayne Gretzky, and he asked him, can Fuhr still play? Gretzky said, absolutely. Keenan said that was good enough for me.
Well, Fuhr sure has played, and he's going to be the key man for them in the playoffs. Wayne Gretzky knows all about the important role that Grant Fuhr can play in playoffs.
Playoffs, Canada Cups, one of the truly great money goaltenders of his era. By a money goalie, you're talking about a guy who shows up, plays his best when the money's on the line, the big games. Here comes Linden. Swings out there wide. Jelena is going towards the front of the net. There's Jelena. Rolls it up ahead. Courtnall with a shot. Rebound. Linden punching at it. Back out for Courtnall. Jelena trying to spin loose in front. And Hull will pick it up and start back. And the puck is bounced up there. Merzen gets to it, and icing is called on St. Louis. 8:21 to go in the first 0-0 hockey game. We are back in a flash. Closed captioning this period provided by Three-Way Muffler, where top quality muffler suspension and brake service is fully guaranteed. 0-0 hockey game, St. Louis and Vancouver. And a penalty coming up.
Noonan went down for the Blues, so this time it's the Canucks' turn to go to the penalty box. Scott Walker is heading there. That's familiar territory for him. He got his stick and his arms tangled up around Noonan. Noonan took a very graceful fall. Scott Walker goes to the penalty box.
So we will get, for the first time, a look at how Wayne Gretzky is going to fit in on what has been an anemic, and that's being kind, St. Louis power play. It has been brutal. 20th when you consider the talent they have in this hockey team. Al McInnes, a point man that many GMs would die for on the power play, and it just hasn't happened for them.
But I think, as Brett Hull said before the game tonight, that the power play may take more time to really click than just 5 aside. They've got to start to really read each other, and he's not quite sure right now how they were going to play on the power play. But McInnes, Hull, and Gretzky are going to lead the way for it.
Gretzky, Corson, and Hull up front, the first configuration here on the power play, and McInnes back at the point. The other point man is number 35, Krister Olsen, a rookie. Puck cleared up ahead. Drop pass there for Hull. Corson moving in. And the puck coming out offside, called on St. Louis.
Well, obviously, I think that's been the missing component to our power play all year. We haven't had that guy to take the concentration away from the shooters. You know, they've always had a guy on Al, and they've always had a guy on me, and we haven't had that guy to loosen us up, and Wayne Gretzky will do that with his great ability. And I think just to get open and, you know, loosen up Al to get some shots from the point, and then that'll loosen up everything. And I think it's going to improve our power play 10 or 20-fold.
Oh, 10 or 20-fold. Wouldn't that be nice?
For the Blues.
Here's Olsen. Gretzky over on the right side. Out by the faceoff circle. Puck comes around to him. Here's Gretzky. Back for McInnes. Over for Olsen. Gretzky moving in towards the high slot. And Olsen looking for some room. Gets it up to Gretzky. Backhand shot. Stopped by McLean.
The Canucks have had troubles killing penalties this year. They're not very strong right now, and I think some of the reasons you just saw. They started off playing a very defensive, disciplined box, and then all of a sudden decided they were going to pressure the point, and that's when they got caught. Puck fed right to Gretzky. I would want to pressure St. Louis killing the penalties, especially with McInnes back in the blue line. You don't want him to shoot away.
25 seconds left in the power play. Here comes Creighton storming up there. Creighton gets it back. McInnes shoots. That one's tipped wide. Hawerchuk gobbles it up. Tried to feed Creighton there. Here's Hawerchuk again. All the way back to McInnes. Up for Hawerchuk. McInnes fires it. Scores! Al McInnes drills it right home on the power play. It's 1-0 St. Louis.
Well, you've got to put some pressure on Al McInnes. You can't let him have this amount of time. He didn't need it, though. Even though McGillney didn't come out to challenge, McGillney was way back in the box. McInnes just stepped into that shot, though. One-timed it, and a good, hard, low drive it was. It hit someone in the slot. Kirk McLean was ready, but I think that changed direction. Ended up going right between his legs.
McInnes gets the goal on the power play. Hawerchuk will pick up an assist at 13:40. Gretzky and Hull not even on the ice for the first St. Louis goal. McLean lays it up around the glass. Long pass up ahead for Walker. Walker trying to tap it away. Ojek up there as well, number 29 coming into the corner. Ojek trying to shovel that around Kravchuk.
Walker took the net and almost took Grant Fuhr. And I think Walker's picking up a penalty here. He also appeared to have hurt his left hand.
It's a hooking call.
Not to Walker.
It is in fact number 32, Stefan Matteau, heading off.
Matteau was
Walker
hooking,
heads to the bench.
Yeah, Matteau was hooking then Walker from behind. Watch, just pulled him a bit, and then that's when Walker went into the net, knocked it off its moorings, and almost caged Grant Fuhr.
And he was cut.
It wasn't his hand, it was his nose.
So Matteau is off for hooking, and Vancouver with its third power play chance. And it's going to be Linden, Tikkanen, and McGillney to start things off. Rolin and Lume back at the blue line. And Gretzky out there to kill it off. Gretzky and Hull.
They might get 30 minutes by the time the second period's over, Paul.
Yeah, they're playing a lot so far. Regular shift, the power play, penalty killing is get them out there. Here's Tikkanen. Works it up around for McGillney. Lume pitching up there. And he's able to keep it in temporarily. He's battling with McInnes, and finally the puck is banked out. 1:25 to go in the power play. Vancouver with the man advantage. Linden takes the pass. Tried to get it back there from McGillney. Didn't quite get there in time.
Smart heads-up play by Kirk McLean, though. He's trying to take advantage of the St. Louis Blues changing lines.
Here's Lume. Lume works up. Gets the puck at the side. McGillney couldn't knock it down. It was really rolling on him. but he's got possession now. McGillney knights it across. Lume comes up, shoots. Corson banks it up around, and Tikkanen had it bounced by him. 53 seconds to go on the power play. Pronger back there to pick it up. And just rims it around and out.
Good clearing by Pronger. He knew that he had to get that puck out, and he put it around the boards hard and very high.
Here's Cliff Ronning, 34 seconds to go on the man advantage for the Canucks. Courtnall's on the move, coming up there. So's Ronning. They flood in up along the boards, and Courtnall had it spin behind him. Hedican up for Ronning. Jelena back up for Ronning. Surrounded by Blues, so he gets it over to Hedican. Moves it up. Courtnall wired that one.
Good one-timer by Courtnall. He was set up, he got that puck, and he sure let it go quickly.
Hedican up there after it. He's knocked down. Penalized player back out. Mateau gets it across. Here's Gretzky. He scores! Number 830 of his career. Number 1 with the St. Louis Blues.
Well, it appears that Gretzky's luck is maybe changing a little bit with the St. Louis Blues on breakaways. He just hesitated, put a real nice move on McLean, and put that puck home for his first goal as a St. Louis Blue. Oh, does that take a lot of pressure off? And a great start. Only fitting the first hug came from Brett Hull.
Mateau and Hull picking up the assists on Gretzky's goal. His first as a St. Louis Blue. And it's 2-0. Here's Pronger over to get it. Hedican missed Ojic. Pronger with it again. Hawerchuk up the middle. They try to get it up to him, but the puck bouncing up into the St. Louis bench and out of play. Well, the first of many he's probably going to get as a Blue. 2-0.
Commercial. Wayne Gretzky went to the bench, and he had a little bit of a rest. That's it. He's coming right back out, but what a move he made right there. Again, that hesitation, and then he found the room by Kirk McLean. Smart heads-up play, though, by Mateau, who came out of the penalty box and found Gretzky.
But not a very smart play by the Canucks, who were napping there. Here comes Jelena. Pass for Linden ahead of him. Courtnall. McInnes knocks that away. Dana Merzen fires it in. Here's Lume. Just flips it up there. Courtnall jumping onto it. Linden is in front. See if they can work it to him. Courtnall picks it up. Now Linden's over to help out. Courtnall still up for Linden. And that's tapped away. Brett Hull. He's up there with Gretzky. Hull to Gretzky. And he couldn't flip it in on goal. Linden breaks it up, and he will start back for the Canucks. Here comes Linden. Hits the line. Dishes to Lume. And that's broken up by Pronger. McGillney up there. He'll pick it up. Back for Lume. Trying to return the favor to McGillney, but it's broken up. Dale Hawerchuk with it.
Good hesitation on Hawerchuk's part. He held on to the puck because he didn't have any place to put it. All of his teammates were changing on the fly.
Hawerchuk this time puts it out to Pearson, who fires it up there, and Kirk McLean will hold on to it.
Canadian Tire has great prices on everything you need. Plus, earn Canadian Tire money with every cash purchase of merchandise. Great prices made better at Canadian Tire.
Dale Hawerchuk up there to take the face-off. Pearson is out there with him. Hawerchuk got the puck to him for a nice chance a moment ago. Pearson, believe it or not, at one time in his career was thought to be maybe a real sniper moving into the NHL.
I'll tell you what, he's got an excellent shot. He's big and strong. Just got to put it all together.
Fires one up there. McLean stops it. He had 109 points in his last year of junior, playing on a line with Eric Lindros in Oshawa.
Well, so far, Mike Keenan's liked his aggressiveness. He's been dropping the gloves a few times, and this guy right here has got the strength, the size, the shot. So why hasn't he been successful in the National Hockey League? Maybe this is going to be his opportunity right now to put it all together. He's got to make sure of his job defensively, because if you don't make sure of your job defensively for a player like Pearson right now, you're not going to get an awful lot of ice time.
Mike Hudson sent to the penalty box for high sticking, so Vancouver will get another power play chance. It'll be Vancouver's 4th power play chance of the game.
Take a look right here. Oh, no question. You just got to stick right up from Couture once or twice.
Gretzky and Hull out there again, the dynamic penalty killing duo for St. Louis. Tikkanen moves it across. Here's McGillney. McGillney looking for 50. Here's McGillney. Linden is in front. Lume works it across. Rolin up for Tikkanen. And just pinballed off his skate, and it's Hull coming back the other way with it. As Gretzky to his left. Offside called on St. Louis. 1:23 to go on the power play for Vancouver.
One thing Brett Hull said about Wayne Gretzky versus Adam Oates, that he felt that Adam Oates, who was a great center iceman, and Hull just loved the guy, was a guy that went out there and really made things happen. Whereas Wayne Gretzky, as a center iceman, creates. You called him Picasso at the start of the game. He's a great artist, and he will find Brett Hull. But as Brett Hull has said earlier, you've got to make sure that you find Gretzky and then find the holes, because he'll find you.
Well, it's something that a lot of people, Bob Berry was telling us this morning, a lot of people underestimate the aspect of Brett Hull's game in that he really is a creative offensive player. He's not one-dimensional. He's not just a goal scorer, and those creative players can see what's going to happen 2 or 3 plays down the road. And he gets frustrated with his teammates when they can't see it.
And that's why he spouts off so often when his teammates don't see those opportunities.
Now, if Gretzky doesn't see them, then Hull is looking far too far down the road. Here's Tikkanen. Tikkanen with it. McGillney is in front. Lume gets it over. Rolin shoots. Tikkanen looking for Linden or McGillney. Can't find either of them. Rolin, good job to keep it in. Moves it up there to McGillney. Trying to get it out for Linden. McGillney again to Tikkanen. 39 seconds left in the Vancouver power play. Tikkanen. Lots of traffic there in the slot. Here comes the shot. That's stopped. Rebound bounces out. Lume tried to get to it, but he was tied up. And Hawerchuk just fires it down the ice, and that will do it for period number 1. When the second period gets going, the Blues will be killing off for 27 seconds of a Vancouver power play.
Great start for Gretzky and Hull and Corson. The Vancouver Canucks were hoping for better. They're in tough right now. They've got to turn it around in the second period.
Gretzky gets one by McLean, so does McInnes. 2-0 after 1. And one more look at a beautiful goal.
First intermission is brought to you by your local McDonald's restaurant. Now, here's your host, Gord Miller.
On another big night for Wayne Gretzky, it's made even better by the fact that he scored in his first period with the St. Louis Blues. Welcome to our McDonald's first intermission. Bob McKenzie is in Vancouver, but we've got someone even more interested in this game. Joining us now on the phone from Brantford, Ontario, Wayne Gretzky's father, Walter. Walter, you said a moment ago you weren't sure who was more excited, you or Wayne. What did you think of the goal?
Oh, it was just beautiful. I never thought he'd get one in his first game. It's always exciting when that happens for everybody.
Walter, what is it about him and those special moments? He scores he becomes the all-time points leader in Edmonton. He scores in his first game as a King against Detroit. He just seems to have a knack for the big moment.
He gets himself very excited during very important games, and of course, to him, every game is an important game. But he seems to always excel in those big games, and this being his first game, it certainly is a big game.
Walter, a lot of people in hockey are excited about seeing Wayne play with Brett Hull, and to see a pure sniper like that with a setup man like Wayne, and having known Wayne a long time, he just seems energized by the trade and by playing with Brett Hull. Do you get that sense?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Brett is not only a good hockey player, but he's a good friend, and Wayne's very excited to have him on the wing with him. Very excited.
Walter, thanks very much for talking to us, and enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you very much. I will.
Walter Gretzky, our guest on the telephone from Brantford, Ontario. I think it was a phone call from Brantford that got us to switch to the Vancouver-St. Louis game tonight. When we come back, we'll have all the highlights from tonight's earlier action in the NHL. The Detroit Red Wings are on a roll. Red Wings this season, maybe earlier on in the year, but since the new year began, the Detroit Red Wings have been unbelievable, playing their final game in the month of February, looking to go 11-2 in the second month to take on the New York Islanders tonight. And Chris Osgood looks to run his unbeaten streak through 13 games. Tommy Soderstrom tested early on. Sergei Fedorov breakaway, but Soderstrom is equal to the task. And New York opens the scoring late in the first period. Brian McCabe finds Zygmunt Palffy on the breakaway, and he goes backhand to beat Osgood, and the Islanders up 1-0. This is the second of back-to-back meetings between the two. Detroit won the earlier meeting this week. 5 minutes into the second period, Detroit ties it up. Doug Brown blasts one by Soderstrom, his 7th of the year, ties the game at 1, and Detroit really pouring it on the scoreboard and physically. Watch Stu Grimson, number 32, sees Darius Kasparaitis and gives him the cross-check, 5-minute major and a game. But on the major penalty, it's Detroit that scores. Short-handed, Steve Yzerman picks up the loose puck and sets up Bob Airey. No chance for Soderstrom, and it's 3-1 Detroit. And no one loves that better than the man who used to toil in Detroit, Kirk Gibson, at the game. Third period now, 4-1 Detroit. Zygmunt Palffy takes the puck from Keith Primo, and Michael Anderson will break in all alone, but Chris Osgood comes up with a save and then stops Zygmunt Palffy, the trailer, on the rebound. Detroit wins its 10th straight at home, now unbeaten in 12 straight at the Joe Louis Arena, and they take the home-and-home series with the Islanders, winning it by a final score of 5-1. The Wings now with 96 points on the season, 46-11-4, 13-2 in the month of February. Also tonight, Washington and Florida. This game ends in a 2-2 tie. Dale Hunter tied the game up in the third period. Mike Huff missed on a penalty shot for Florida, the first penalty shot a Panther has ever taken. And also in that game, Kelly Miller had a great chance in overtime, stopped by John Van Beesbrook. Washington has beaten Florida just once in 5 meetings this year. This would be, by the way, a first-round playoff matchup. When we come back, more highlights from other games going on tonight. The Chicago Blackhawks home to Colorado, and the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Calgary Flames. Those games coming up. The Western Conference entering their meeting tonight by going in much different directions. Colorado came in on a 5-game winning streak, while the Blackhawks had lost 3 in a row for the first time this season. Patrick Waugh would play a major role in this game for Colorado, but not the way he might have liked. He gets tested early on. Eric Daze rips it, beats Waugh, but rings it off the post. Minutes later, the Avalanche on the power play, but it's Jeremy Roenick in on the break. Gets the second chance off the end boards and gets his 30th of the year to make it 1-0. But Colorado does score on that power play opportunity. And great passing. It's Peter Forsberg to Valery Kamensky to Adam Foote. The one-timer. check that. That's Chris Simon. That's his night. Adam Foote would play a role later in the game. Scary moment. Jeremy Roenick goes to hit Kamensky. Roenick's stick comes up and gets Kamensky in the face. No penalty called on the play, and Kamensky needed some stitches on the bench. Late first, Hawks on the power play. Savard to Suter, and Gary Suter gets his 17th of the year, 2-1 Hawks. But the Avalanche storm back in the second period. Game tied at 2 on a goal by Adam Foote. Then Foote takes a shot. Valery Kamensky with the tip gets his 30th of the year, 3-2. Late second. Paul Lemieux down the wing spot. Sandis Oslin streaking in, but Jeff Hackett gets across and makes the stop. To the third now. Jeremy Roenick breaks through, and look at this. Spots Tony Amonte. No chance for Juan that play. Amonte's 22nd, but then Juan misplays the puck, gives it to Eric Daze, who gives it to Murray Craven, who gets his 14th of the year, and that gives Chicago the victory. The Hawks end their 3-game losing streak, beat Colorado for the first time this year as they win it by a final score of 4-3. Adam Foote with a goal and an assist in a 2-minute span in the second period. Let's go on now to Pittsburgh and Calgary. Early on in this one, the giveaway by the Pens. Pavel Torgayev moves in and scores unassisted and makes it 1-0 as he beats Tom Barrasso. Then heavyweight Sandy McCarthy took a couple early in this bout with Francois Leroux, but then dropped him later. McCarthy, one of the NHL's premier tough guys, does pretty well against Francois Leroux. No one's doing better in the NHL, though, you have to say, than Gary Roberts these days. Gets knocked around, but then gets up and gets his 14th goal of the year. And the Flames all over Pittsburgh on the give and go as Roberts at the side of the net makes it 2-0. Then Theoren Fleury with the work here. Mario Lemieux can't clear it, and German Titov picks it up. 3-0 in favor of the Flames, and Coach Ed Johnston sees his team not playing very well in Calgary, and the hits just keep on coming for the Flames on the power play. Fleury throws it back to the point. The rebound comes in front, and there's Gary Roberts, his 2nd of the game, 15th of the year, and the Flames are all over Pittsburgh, leading by a score of 5-0. Corey Stillman has had another for the Flames. Pittsburgh just 4 wins in its last 21 visits to the Olympic Saddledome. A trade to tell you about in the NHL today between Toronto and the Rangers. Pretty much utility players changing hands here. Wayne Presley and Nick Kyprios go to Toronto. Bill Berg and Sergio Momesso, 2 quote-unquote annoying pests, go off to the Rangers. Momesso, 7 goals for Toronto, but he spent much of the second half of the season in the press box. Back with more on the NHL tonight, right after this.
Donald's Restaurants.
You make the call. March 18, 1994. Washington Capitals playing the Dallas Stars. Capitals defenseman Ally Afraidy sends Peter Bondra on a breakaway. Does he beat Andy Moog? You make the call.
There's a very simple reason.
On Peter Bondra, a big save as Dallas goes on to beat Washington 6-2. A milestone for Andy Moog as he records career victory number 300.
We're getting set for the start of the second period at GM Place in Vancouver. The first period scoring summary is brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates. Al McInnes on the power play made it 1-0, but then the goal they'd all come to see. Wayne Gretzky on the breakaway, no less, gets his 16th of the year, the 830th of his career. Shots on goal were even at 8 apiece. 8s are the number there. 9's the number everyone's focusing on tonight. Let's go back to Paul and Gary.
Well, Wayne Gretzky with 1 goal, a couple of shots in that period. He's facing off against Trevor Linden, who had 3 shots that period for the Vancouver Canucks.
And the Canucks right into the power play, and Tikkanen wires one up. Right in front, a chance there for Linden. Linden had 3 shots on goal in the first period. Number 4 right there, that one coming on the power play. And here comes McGillney. Gets it back out, Tikkanen shooting! That's stopped in front. It may have been stopped by Linden initially, and it's covered up by Fuhrer.
Trevor Linden's down on his knees right now. He'll be up, and he's got to be, because this is the guy for the Canucks that has got to get it going for them in this period. And he's definitely started out on the right foot. Trevor Linden was a little disappointed that Wayne Gretzky went to the St. Louis Blues. He is their Iron Man, no question about it. Their Iron Man, their leader.
3-time MVP with Vancouver.
Canucks would like another center iceman, though, to back up Trevor Linden right now. Mike Ridley should be ready to play in a couple of weeks' time. Don't be surprised that they'll be fishing in the trade market before March the 20th for a center iceman as well.
And 2 seconds, 1 second. The team back at even strength as Hudson steps out of the box. Here's Linden. Not much room to move. Howardchuk right on his back. And here's Tikkanen. And McGillney and Linden will both head towards the bench. Rick Lee changing them up as Howardchuk starts out. Doesn't get too far, though. Dana Merzen. Howardchuk up along the boards. Knocked away from him. Courtnall with it. Long pass all the way across. Jelena is going to chase it down. Martin Jelena. Knocked down there by Pronger. He's right back up and into the plate. Courtnall zipping up there to pick it up. Courtnall still. Just flicks it up there. Dowd will pick it up. Has Jelena in front. And Pearson up off the boards. A little bit too far for Corson. Here comes Henneken. Right up there. Tried to drop it back to Dowd, but it's poked away. Pearson lunging at it. Gets the puck down the ice. And icing is called on St. Louis. We are early in the second period. 2-0 the Blues on top. If you just tuned in, you missed it. Gretzky's already scored.
Russ Courtnall has got 17 goals this season thus far, 31 assists, but the big surprise is that he is a +22, and I shouldn't say a big surprise because for about the last 7 or 8 seasons, Russ Courtnall has always been a plus player. He credits that back to his Montreal Canadiens days when he really had an awful lot of influence from a player like Bob Gainey, but he's also had that influence when he's gone to Dallas to play.
Here is Matteau. Gets it back in front. Noonan fired that one wide. Noonan moving in towards the front of the net. Matteau trying to hold that puck loose. Zetzel is the other forward out there for St. Louis. Barron gets it across. McInnes up for Noonan. Here's McInnes. Matteau pokes it up ahead. Zetzel to Noonan. Zetzel going for the net, and Noonan had it poked away by Aucoin. And meanwhile, back behind the play, Kirk McLean couldn't get out of the way quite fast enough. Had a lot of traffic coming in there.
One thing we know also about the St. Louis Blues and Mike Keenan right now is the fact that, hey, he's pretty excited about the Gretzky trade. But on the other hand, as Matteau has come to Mike Keenan this season through a trade, Mike Keenan isn't done yet. He knows that he's got some more players that he's got to go out and find. He doesn't think they have got the right ingredients right now to win a Stanley Cup. March 20 is coming up. The NHL deadline for trades.
But he was looking for character and leadership, and he got that in Wayne Gretzky, and you'll see Gretzky and the Blues in action next Thursday. Calgary traveling to St. Louis. Mike Keenan has been very lucky in his coaching career in terms of coaching great leaders. Mark Messier in New York, Wayne Gretzky now here in St. Louis. Chris Chelios in Chicago. Here's Gretzky out to Hull. Lume goes after it.
Hull was just a little off balance when he got that puck.
Courtnall kicks it up ahead, but that's a two-line pass.
Talking about Courtnall's defensive play, remember back in his Montreal days? He was playing on a line with Ryan Walter and Guy Carbonneau, and that line was a great checking line. So Courtnall learned how to play defense really back then, and of course he's also played with guys like Mike McPhee. When he went to the Dallas Stars, then of course he had the influence of Bob Gainey and Doug Jarvis. So this guy, even though you think of him as an offensive player and one that doesn't concentrate a lot on defense, he's got his highest plus-minus in his career with that +22. He does think defense, and he's got that great speed also. If he gets caught deep offensively, he can get back.
Over 600 career points. He's in his 13th NHL season. Here's Pearson. Gets it all the way back. Murray Barron flips it up into the corner. And Ronning leaping there to pick it up. McGillney. Picked away by Howardchuk.
Gilney's stick handling was a little off on that
Pearson's
play.
up there, tried to get it out in front. Kirk McLean has almost been caught flat-skated a couple of times tonight, coming out of his net to play the puck. Here comes Pearson up there, shooting! McLean stops that one.
There's that big shot of Pearson's, and that wasn't one of his best.
McGillney with it. Up ahead to Ronning. Back ahead to McGillney. McInnes there, moves it up.
McGillney's having no luck stick handling. Not on this shift.
Leaf Rolene with the puck for Vancouver. To McGillney. Didn't want to stick handle for long there. He was in the slot with two Blues closing in. This is Hedican coming up. Tikkanen going towards the front of the net. Ronning moves up there to help out. He'll claim it. Banks it around there for McGillney. Pronger picks that off. McGillney gets it back. Tried to come in front. Pronger wins that little battle. And here's Gretzky starting off. Gretzky coming up with Corson and Hull. Gretzky, no look pass, and it looked like it. Here comes McGillney back up with Baranek. Tried to get it across. A nice play by Pronger to block that. Here's Gretzky coming in. Gretzky drops it off. Kravchuk coming in. Corson up in the corner. And the puck just cleared in by Dana Merzen. Baranek hanging back in the slot, seeing if Ojik could get it out to him. Here's Merzen. Pass up ahead. Baranek coming in. Walker's up there with him. Ojik bumping there with Creighton. They get the elbows and the gloves up. Walker in the corner, bouncing off his man, and Matteau will start back out for St. Louis. Matteau coming up to the line with Noonan. And Noonan just squeezed out along the boards by a coin. Here's Baranek for Vancouver. Up ahead to Walker. And he'll just bring it up there. Ojik moving up. He overskated it. Howardchuk there for St. Louis. McInnes back to help him out. Walker steps into McInnes, but Barron prevails for St. Louis. Up ahead to Howardchuk. Comes to the line with Matteau and led him just a little bit too much. Barron steps in. Offside called on St. Louis. 14:05 to go in the second period. You're watching Molson NHL Tonight.
Wayne Gretzky not quite as happy after this. Watch the pass by Gretzky, the backhand pass, and that's why it'll take some teammates some time to get used to Gretzky looking for that open ice. And he'll also probably get a phone call right after the game from his father Walter that'll be telling him no more of those type of passes.
Kind of nice hearing Walter on the phone there, chatting with Gord Miller during the first intermission.
At home watching the game with his wife Phyllis. We've kidded Walter for years that Phyllis will go to heaven on a rocket ship for having to put up with Walter.
Without hesitation, Wayne Gretzky's biggest two fans. Here's Hedican. Gets it up around. Dowd with it. Hunter got it up ahead. And Fuhrer will stop those all night. Long range wrist shot. Fuhrer comes back out. Wrist shot there in from Merzen, missed the mark. And that was way up over 2 lines. Although Brett Hull had a thought. Hull assisting on Gretzky's first goal as a St. Louis Blue. Although most people expect it'll be going the other way more often than not. Gretzky assisting on Hull's goals.
There you see the Western standings, and the 8 teams that would make the playoffs have been ended today.
Lume banks it up. Linden going after it. Kravchuk up around the boards. This is Courtnall. Trevor Linden, he's had 4 shots on goal tonight. Courtnall just kind of kicks it up ahead to Jelena. Courtnall will pick it up. Gretzky trying to get away. Merzen had the puck bounce and roll around on him. Nice pass up ahead to Jelena coming in. Creighton starting back the other way for St. Louis. Up to Corson. Corson throwing along the boards. Creighton comes up there. And Lume gets it up to Jelena.
Creighton playing with that jaw protector. He had missed 19 games with a broken jaw.
Very similar apparatus to the one that Chris Tamer was wearing for a while with Pittsburgh. Here's McGillney. Taken will clear it in. 12:05 to go in the second period. 2-0 score, St. Louis leading. McInnes and Gretzky scoring back in the first period. And icing is called on the Blues. No scoring yet. Get a better look there at that strange helmet.
With the score, 5-1 in favor of the Calgary Flames, Gary Roberts snaps one home. 21 games played for Roberts. He's got 16 goals and a hat trick tonight.
Closed captioning this period provided by Thruway Muffler, where top quality muffler suspension and brake service is fully guaranteed.
Well, this man's having quite a time.
Hey, go big or go home, eh? Decked out for the game.
Even though the Canucks are down by a couple of goals, a little dancing going on. There's not much dancing going on in the second period on the ice.
Howard pushing it to the corner. Barron sends it up around.
Fairly quiet second period.
McGillney trying to take off. Gets it out of traffic to Ronning. McGillney trails him at the line and goes towards the net. Tikkanen was looking for the pass there. Barron banks it off the boards. Tikkanen knocks it down. Up to Ronning. Back to Tikkanen. In front. Here's McGillney. Chance for 50, and he batted a bouncing puck wide.
That puck really was bouncing, but even still, he was able to get some wood on it.
Here's McGillney coming up. McGillney shoots. Fuhrer took a bite out of that one. Merzen. McGillney after it. And it's poked away by Howardchuk and down the ice. Couple of good chances for McGillney on this shift. And he is still up there for the time being, up by center. Here's Hull. Hull looks around, gets it back. Guess who? Gretzky. Knocked away from him. And here comes 89. McGillney. Fires it up there. Lume after it. Pronger picks it up. Up to Corson. Cross ice, a little bit too far for Hull. Merzen with it. Here comes Baranek. Baranek into the corner. Ojik up there. Walker hanging back high in the slot. All for naught, though. The puck just cleared down the ice. Hit the halfway point of this hockey game. 2-0. St. Louis on top. Both goals back in the first period. Al McInnes in the power play, and Wayne Gretzky even strength. On a breakaway, believe it or not. Here's Adam Creighton. Hall will pick it up. Hull has been playing most of this night with Gretzky and Corson. But he's up this time with Matteau and Creighton. Creighton trying to dig it loose. Battling there with Jelena. Matteau pounces on it. Pushes it towards the net. Hull is pushed down there in front. And a penalty coming up. It's going to be a tripping call against, I believe, number 27, Leaf Rolene, who was jostling with Hull right down in front of Kirk McLean.
Rolene's still not quite sure, but watch this play. Rolene looks to try to take the left leg of Brett Hull, and he got it. And he got more than the leg.
He got the penalty. And St. Louis, which scored a power play goal back in the first period on its only power play, actually. They're 1 for 1. McInnes got it.
Well, the Vancouver Canucks have a tough time at home. Take a look at some of these statistics. They struggle. But I'll tell you what, they, I think, have got something to maybe look forward to down the road, Paul. And that is the hopes, and I say hopes, of getting Pavel Bure back.
St. Louis in the power play. Olsen and McInnes back at the blue line. Gretzky, Hull, and Corson up front. And here's Gretzky trying to get outside on Merzen. Olsen shoots. Corson after it. Gretzky parked, guess where? Right down back in the net. Hull will pick it up. He gets it to Gretzky. It hopped over his stick. Jelena gets there. Good job by McInnes to keep that puck in. McInnes to Olsen. Back to McInnes. Gretzky to McInnes. Shooting. Kicked away by McLean. He saw it through a lot of traffic. And Jelena trying to steal it. Gets it to Linden. Coming up short-handed. Linden. That stop. Rebound in front here with back-to-back stops. First on Linden, then on Jelena, and a penalty coming up. Great action there.
Murray Barron's going to be taking a penalty, and that's what Mike Keenan is upset about right now, but just a great play by Grant Fuhr, who stood his ground on Trevor Linden. Actually, Olsen is going to the penalty box. Watch Linden on this play. He looked to pass to Jelena, then he decided to shoot. All the time, Grant Fuhr didn't go down, he stayed up. Jelena was waiting. He finally got a chance at the rebound. Olsen ended up with an interference penalty.
Christer Olsen off for interference. And the teams will play at even strength for the next minute 6, and then Vancouver will go on the power play.
Mike Keenan asking his assistant captain, Al McGinnis. Let's see the penalty. You see McInnes, who has got an A on his sweater. Brett Hull has nothing on his sweater anymore. He said it went from having a C on to an A on to having nothing on. Oh, we told him that as he's getting a little older, that age would just wear you down anyway. It makes the sweater a little heavier.
Here's Barron with it. Ronning up after the puck. Takes it away from Hull. Ronning gets it back. O'Coin wired that one. Did not miss by much. He'll reload. Passes it across this time. And now O'Coin moves up. Hopped over his stick. McInnes with company, so he gets it back to Barron. Up to Hull. In 30 seconds, Vancouver will go on the power play. And for now, they go 4-on-4. Hedican comes up, fires that up there. Courtney will get to it, lets it go. Back to O'Coin, shoots. Gear stop that one. Ronning, looking for a bit of room. Kravchuk. O'Coin up there. He is stoned by Fuhr. Goal line stand. Right there. Howardchuk comes back up. Here's Kravchuk. And the puck fired down the ice by Igor Kravchuk.
Cardinal was looking to give it to someone. The only guy that was going to the slot was Ronnie, but so were 3 Blues sweaters.
Vancouver was on a change. Here comes Linden. He came out on that change, and he's up there now. McGillney's up there too. Scores! Lume! Lume with the shot, McGillney with the tip, and that's 50 for McGillney.
Watch Alex McGillney. There he goes. He's watching the puck. It's the perfect way to tip it. Alex McGillney goes to the net. He turns around. He faces the shooter. The shooter being Lume. He tipped it perfectly.
Becomes the second player in Vancouver Canucks history to hit the 50-goal mark. Pavel Bure, the other, who has in fact hit 60 twice. Nice soft hands with a tip on the Jurke Lume shot. And Vancouver on the board on the power play. It's 2-1, St. Louis leading. Linden picks up the other assist. Penalties to sort out for you. We'll do that right after we do this. 50's fine.
Okay, gang, it's a race to Tim Hortons, and the last team there buys the soup. Go!
At Tim Hortons, we're very proud to be the official sponsor of Canada's 3 national cycling teams. Of course, we're just as proud to be able to serve them and you a nourishing bowl of soup with a tea biscuit for only $2.29. And you could win a trip to join our cycling teams in Atlanta.
So who's fine today, guys? Same as always.
Man, we gotta stop going in circles.
And McGillney turns some momentum around. Stay tuned following tonight's game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Interstate Batteries. We check them before you buy them for fresh power guaranteed.
You know, an apple sitting around too long, it goes bad. It's the same thing with a new battery. It loses power waiting to be bought. That's why at Interstate, we're constantly checking our batteries to make sure they're fresh, so that you don't end up with a bad apple.
Well, what McGillney was watching and smiling at was that during that commercial break, they were playing back some of the 50 goals that he has racked up this year. That brought a little smile to his face.
He watched 10, 20, 30, 40, and then the replay of his 50th.
And he gets the standing O. And so he should. He's having a great year with the Vancouver Canucks, even greater in light of the fact that Pavel Bure, the other big offensive player, out of the lineup. And McGillney has really pulled up the slack. Gino Ojek is in the penalty box. And St. Louis on the power play. Ojek gets called for slashing. And it's Gretzky, Hull, and Corson out there. That's been the combination most of the night in the St. Louis power play.
Gretzky's been taking a little shorter shifts in this second period. He's been through a lot this week. No doubt tired. And he had a lot of ice time in the first period. Probably around 12 to 14 minutes in that first period.
Jelena gets it up ahead. Here comes Linden. Jelena up there along the boards. St. Louis is on the power play. Here's Olsen. Pass up ahead to Corson. He comes up there with Hall and Gretzky. Hall with it, back to Olsen. Here's Gretzky. McInnes. and Linden right in his face, steals the puck. Tried to get it up ahead. McGillney just sneaking by McInnes, but Linden couldn't lay it on the tape.
And McInnes just gave him enough of a love tap with his stick to prohibit it. Hidden from getting that puck.
Here comes Shane Corson. Up there with Hull and Gretzky. Here's the pass for Gretzky to Hull. Shoots! McLean read that one. He knew where it was going, and he came right across. Made the nice stop on Hull. Hull gets it across. Corson. Pronger moving over. 25 seconds left in the power play. St. Louis with the man advantage. Pronger taps it up. Puck whipped across. Hull wasn't there. Portno coming back.
Hull usually is, but he went to the slot.
Here's Kravchuk. 5 seconds left in the power play for the Blues. Maybe time for one more rush. Kravchuk will lead it and will fire it. And it's tipped way up out of play. Team's back at even strength. 4:09 to go here in the second period. The Blues are leading by a score of 2-1.
Muhammad Ali is my brother. When we was kids, he used to get me to throw rocks at him so he could practice ducking and weaving. He had natural ability, but he was short on muscles, so he trained hard and got real strong. So strong that he went on to be the greatest heavyweight of all time.
I'm 22 years old. I must be the greatest.
What gives Wendy's new Pepper Jack Bacon Cheeseburger that spicy hit everybody loves? The quarter-pound of fresh ground beef, the bacon, the perfect sauce, or the Pepper Jack cheese?
Gotta be the cheese.
Wendy's new Pepper Jack Bacon Cheeseburger. It is the cheese.
What's so new about new Speed Stick Clear deodorant? Take a look at this gel. See? It's wet and sticky. And mine, it goes on dry.
New Speed Stick Clear. It's more than clear. It's clearly dry.
By Menon.
Now in 4 fresh scents.
Gretzky doing a little discussing on the bench. That's something that's just going to take some time. The timing was there for this one. He found Brett Hull. Brett Hull knew that puck was coming to him right on the tape, and he let go with a great slap shot. But Kurt McLean got right back into position. Made a big save.
I don't know how often goalies really think about opponents. Some goalies tell you that they'll go over a lineup and familiarize themselves. And here's a penalty coming up. Cliff Ronning with a brutal hit as they move towards the boards. He knocked Igor Kravchuk down, who's getting up rather slowly.
Well, those are the type that can do damage. Ronning got the stick between Kravchuk's legs. Right here, watch it. Pulled him down, and he smashed right into the boards. He didn't pull it as much as he just twisted that stick, which sent Kravchuk's right leg flying.
Among other things, 3:51 to go in the second period. And Ronning is off for hooking.
And Gretzky and Hull are right back out there along with McInnes and Corson.
You're saying some goalies would tell you that they'll go over a lineup, familiarize themselves with who they're going to be facing. You've got to think that Kirk McLean was thinking beforehand. Gretzky and Hull, they're going to be hooking up because he just read that perfectly as he came across.
And Hull will be the sniper. Gretzky will be the playmaker.
How many do you figure Hull can score over the last 20 games playing with Gretzky?
Well, one thing I think is for sure is that he'll get his 50th.
34 heading into this one. Pass up ahead for Jelena. Couldn't pull that one down. And Jelena knocked down by McInnes. Blues on the power play. And leading by a score of 2-1. Here's McInnes. Up to Olsen. And Olsen was tattooed by Martin Jelena. And then Olsen returns the favor, and a penalty coming up. A retaliation penalty on Christer Olsen, who was hammered out in the neutral zone by Lieutenant Jelena. He got the license number of the truck and then returned the favor. And he'll be called for it.
Olsen goes to the penalty box. Trevor Linden went for a little discussion with the referee. Trevor Linden looked like he was hurting a bit. Still is. You can see that he is grimacing in some pain.
Well, here's the hit that got it started. Olsen is taken out by Jelena.
Olsen got taken out of the play, but there's the penalty. You can see that Olsen took.
And on that particular replay there, you could not see what happened to Trevor Linden. The way he was skating to the bench, it looked as though he took a slash.
But he's taking a little breather. He's right back out there. Well, there you see the St. Louis Blues second only to the Buffalo Sabres when it comes to taking penalties. And Mike Keenan's teams have always taken penalties, for the reason being he likes them to play in-your-face hockey. He wants heavy forechecking, go, 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 and when you are out there making things happen, chances are you're going to end up with more penalties.
We want to make it perfectly clear. You'll find guaranteed low prices at your Canadian Tire store every day. If you find a better price anywhere, we'll match it. Guaranteed.
3:03 to go in the second period. It is 2-1, St. Louis leading. Olsen off for 2 minutes, so the team's at even strength for 1:12. And then Vancouver will go on the power play. And Gretzky seeing a lot of ice time tonight. Has one goal. He scored it back in the first period on a breakaway. Stefan Matteau sent him in.
Lots of open ice out there now. Gretzky and Hall versus Linden and Courtnall. Pretty even match.
And here's Courtnall with it. Back out for Linden. Linden trying to muscle his way around. Courtnall going for the front of the net. Couldn't quite get his stick on that feed. O'Coin moves it up. O'Coin shoots. Pure got a piece of that. Here's Courtnall. Courtnall works it across. Linden is moving towards the front of the net, but forced to the outside. Hedican with it. Trying to twist away from Hall. Linden comes in and hammers him. Pronger will jump in and look out. Linden hit Hall, and then Pronger took exception to that one right after Linden. Linden against Hall. Pronger against Linden. Pronger's a big man, and he knew that when your star all of a sudden gets hit that way, then you've got to react. Big Chris Pronger at 6'6", 210 pounds, was ready to do battle. And let's see how things get sorted out here. Linden and Pronger going. Well, Pronger was certainly the aggressor, if you're calling it by the book. He went in right after Linden had moved in and hit Hall. I don't think anything was going to be called until Pronger jumped in there. Watch the play happen. There's Hall. Hall's down, and that's when Trevor Linden really smashed him hard into the boards, and that's why Pronger reacted the way he did. Hall was vulnerable right here, and it's fortunate for Hall that he's as limber and flexible as he is, because that could have been a dangerous one. Linden gets called for boarding. So a boarding call on Trevor Linden. Pronger also picks up 2 minutes for roughing. So offsetting minor penalties.
Good calls by Merrill Weller. Well, Rick Lee has seen his team start to come back in this second period, led by Trevor Linden. But Linden's gone right now.
Junior hockey night tomorrow on TSN. The Sherbrooke Faucon going up against the Halifax Mooseheads. The Mooseheads battling for a playoff spot in the Dilio division in the queue. 4 o'clock Pacific time, 7 o'clock in the Eastern time zone. Here's Lume. Here just steers that away. McGillney in front. And in 10 seconds, Vancouver will go on the power play. Here's Lume. Rolls it up. McGillney trying to get it back in front. Courtnall is up there. Courtnall will steal it. In front for Lume. Shoots. Gear with a nice stop. Vancouver is on the power play. Running in front of the net. See if McGillney can get it to him. Centered it, and it rolled right back out behind Ronning. Now Ronning's got it. Cliff Ronning. McGillney with it. Ronning is down low, and he'll take it. Returns the favor. McGillney throws it across, gets it back, and misfired there. Courtnall's parked to the right of Grant Fury's on his forehand side. He's been waiting for that puck. 10 seconds left in the power play for Vancouver. 1:13 to go in the second period. The Blues leading 2-1.
Let's see where we end up.
McGillney was looking for an opportunity to make the perfect pass. St. Louis were really playing again that very disciplined box. No Canuck player was inside that box. Watch McGillney right here. One-timers look pretty when they work. That one didn't work.
McGillney notching his 50th of the year tonight and is now on an 8-game consecutive point-scoring streak. And got the 50th on a nice tip. Jyrki Lume fired it in for the point, and McGillney, nice soft hands, redirected that one on the way through.
The Canucks started that out with that 4-on-4, and they actually had the advantage out there. It was Courtnall and McGillney out against Hall and Corson, and they did have the advantage. Pretty even up back in the points. When McInnes has been out there, so's Lume when those 4-on-4 situations have occurred. Tikkanen's been the life of the party, and since he's come to the Vancouver Canucks and finally has been healthy, he has definitely added an ingredient in the dressing room.
Ronning works it back. Hennigan with a shot. Wells after it. He was given a bump. Penalized player is back out. Less than a minute to go in the period. The teams are at even strength. The Blues lead it 2-1. And this is Tikkanen. Up into Jelena's corner. And Jelena couldn't get there in time. Noonan goes after it. Taps it by Hennigan. Here's Leaf Rolene. Pure up there to play. Up for Hudson. Hudson bumping there with Tikkanen. Rolene trying to help out. Hawerchuk is in the scrum as well, but Ronning comes away with it. Fires it up there. Tikkanen after it. And Hennigan will cruise back after that puck. Icing called in St. Louis. The face-off in the offensive zone for Vancouver with 11.5 seconds to go in the second period.
Time here for the Canucks to try to get one scoring chance. So I mentioned about the ingredient that Tikkanen has brought to that dressing room. He really has added the feistiness that the Vancouver Canucks were perhaps lacking. They didn't have enough of it. Yeah, he likes Vancouver all right. There you see some of his statistics with St. Louis. Yes, with New Jersey, that was a real quick one. And then with the Vancouver Canucks, that's where he's had some success. He's cocky, maybe a little arrogant. Very confident player.
I hope he didn't unpack in New Jersey. Linden up there, gets it in front. And that will do it for a couple of periods. St. Louis with 2 in the first, Vancouver with 1 here in the second.
And this man was with his 50th. The Canucks have gained some momentum here in the second period. Should be a good third.
And in the history of this Vancouver franchise, only 2 men with 50 in a season. Pavel Bure, one of them, McGillney the other, on this nice tip.
2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, processed cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. 2 all-beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. Hey, Andy, I just wrote a song.
McDonald's Big Mac song, Fred.
Hey, thanks, Andy. That's a great name for it.
McDonald's Big Mac. It's one of a kind.
You know, have you had your break today?
Hey, that's good, too.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. In just minutes a day, your thighs can look like
2 mouth-watering patties and a rich
hypoallergenic base that makes your skin feel like
Toupee in a can. Gets rid of all spots. In fact, it looks just like
fabulous fake fur. Fantastic for my retro. Now easier to handle with a roast reindeer.
Life can be heavy. Keep it light. Clear your mind with a clearly great new taste. Check out new 7-Up Light.
With most other phone cards, you have to dial a complex access code of up to 11 digits before you can even begin to dial your call.
Flight 609, departing at 6:32 for gate 26 is now boarding. With passengers in rows 18 through 35, please present your boarding pass at gate 26.
But with our calling card service, you just press 0 before you dial your call. Another reason why our calling card is the best card, period.
Last call for flight 609 at 6:32, departing from gate 26. All passengers.
Mazda Protege, an outstanding warranty. Sports sedan poise and composure, road and track. Featuring award-winning Opta-Space design. Protege SE at this new low price. Protege.
McDonald's Second Intermission is brought to you by your local McDonald's restaurant. Now, here's your host, Gord Miller.
Welcome back to our second intermission. There's been a lot going on in the NHL the last couple of days. Of course, the Wayne Gretzky trade from Los Angeles to St. Louis made headlines across the league. There's also been trade rumors swirling around Wendell Clark of the New York Islanders, with the suggestion being he's either headed to Chicago or perhaps back to the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs did make a deal today. We'll talk more about that in a moment. And joining me now live from Vancouver is Bob McKenzie. Now, Bob, we've seen Wayne Gretzky scoring a breakaway in his first game with the St. Louis Blues. I guess the debut has been pretty successful.
First period was really quite good. Played a lot, too. And Wayne Gretzky, I think his numbers in Los Angeles, probably in the 16 to 20-minute mark on a game. Mike Keenan said before tonight's game that he would try to play Gretzky 25 to 27 minutes, play him as much as he could until Gretzky came off and said, "Coach, I can't go anymore." In the first period, he was up around close to 9 minutes, and I thought he had a good bit of jump in that first period. Second period, though, the Blues, including Gretzky, went right to sleep. A lot of defensive deficiencies, especially when Gretzky and Hull were out on the ice, especially 4-on-4 late in the period.
All right, Bob, a couple other things to talk about. The Toronto Maple Leafs make a trade tonight with the New York Rangers. Bill Berg and Sergio Momesso go to New York. Nick Kypreos and Wayne Presley go back to Toronto. What's your take on the deal?
Well, you look at it, and it's 2 players for the Toronto Maple Leafs that weren't playing a lot or not playing well, depending on your point of view, especially in the case of Sergio Momesso, who's been a big disappointment. Traded for Mike Ridley in the offseason. If Ridley's not out with a back injury, the Toronto Maple Leafs are taking even more heat for this trade than they already have. Picked up for 2 guys from the New York Rangers who aren't playing a lot and aren't playing necessarily well, Wayne Presley and Nick Kypreos. It's a case where the New York Rangers are rolling the dice a little bit and hoping that Sergio Momesso, whose history has been weak regular season player, very strong in the playoffs, he's going to come to life, big, strong guy. They can use his strength to, it was going to be a real tough Eastern Conference war, and they're trying to bulk up with some big guys. As for the Leafs, they're just trying to get some sort of spark, trying to get something going. I don't know if Presley or Kypreos are going to be the answer, but Cliff Fletcher's just trying to jiggle around those 3rd and 4th lines to try and get a little chemistry going.
Well, on the West Coast, Pat Quinn is famous for making deals at the deadline, usually with the St. Louis Blues. But, you know, you look at Vancouver, and with Ridley with the back, he could come back pretty quickly. And Pavel Bure's been skating. This Vancouver team gets interesting.
Gets very interesting. They had a real tough first period, but in the second period they started to show a lot more. And you can see Alexander McGillney out there tonight, scores his 50th goal, and what a boon he's been to the Vancouver Canucks with Bure being out of the lineup. You know, I look at this matchup tonight, and this could be a preview of the first round of the playoffs, and I look at the St. Louis Blues, and I'm just looking at their lineup, and I'm saying, no way is Mike Keenan finished. He talked a little bit before the game tonight about the possibility of going out and getting some other players. He says maybe nothing major, certainly nothing to equal the Gretzky move. But I've got to believe that between now and the deadline, Mike Keenan's going to realize his hockey team, even with Wayne Gretzky in the lineup, requires significant or more of an upgrade, and he's going to go after a lot more players.
All right, Bob, thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thanks a lot, Gord.
Bob McKenzie live from Vancouver. We'll get set for all the highlights now from the early games in the National Hockey League. Colorado and Chicago clashing, Pittsburgh and Calgary. All the pictures coming up next.
Being oneself, styled expressionist, punctuating the ordinary, searching innermost pockets for your ID, detecting the truthfulness necessary to unapologetically say, this is the way I am.
It's been 2 weeks.
What do you mean?
I mean every day for 2 weeks.
Every day?
Every day.
And it's good?
It's very good.
2 weeks, huh?
Oh, yeah.
What does your wife think?
She thinks it's great. You should try it.
Oh, I'm gonna try it.
Good.
They're talking about Kellogg's All Brand. It's very high in fiber. Make it part of your complete breakfast for 2 weeks and see how you feel about it.
How do you feel about it?
Good.
You feel good.
I knew that I would.
Kellogg's All Brand. Try it for 2 weeks. Love it forever.
Hey, pocket lovers! Introducing new McCain Deli Lovers Pizza Pockets to set you on your jet.
Let's go, pocket lovers! McCain made them just for you. They made them with their best, so they taste a cut above the rest.
Seasoned beef, salami, 2 pepperonis, Canadian bacon, and more in a crust that's baked, not fried, so there's no leaks, no mess.
McCain Deli Lovers Pizza Pockets!
The new taste to set you on your jets.
Mario Lemieux is out to make a little bit of history. We may be in for some of it tonight. His next goal will be his 500th. Now Lemieux, and there's number 500. Mario Lemieux.
Now every time Mark Messier steps out on the ice could be an historic moment.
He shoots, he scores! Mark Messier, number 500. What a night for Mark Messier.
It began as a whisper, now it's a full-scale roar. People talking about the Chicago Blackhawks as Stanley Cup contenders. Their first 12 games after the All-Star break, they were unbeaten. They were riding a 4-game winless streak as they entered play tonight against Colorado. Jeremy Roenick, with the Avalanche on the power play, gets a second chance. He gets his 30th of the year to make it 1-0. But Colorado battles back on the same power play. It's Forsberg to Kamensky to Chris Simon alone in the slot. He gets his 9th and ties the game at 1. Then Jeremy Roenick goes to hit Kamensky, and Roenick gets his stick up on Kamensky, who goes down immediately. No penalty called in the play against Jeremy Roenick, and Kamensky had to go to get some stitches on the bench. Late in the first period, Hawks in the power play. Denny Savard to Gary Suter, who one-times it. 2-1 Hawks. Avalanche tied the power play. Adam Foote from the corner with the perfect shot between the legs of Jeff Hackett. His 5th of the year. Then minutes later, Adam Foote from the point. His shot deflected by Kamensky. 2 points for Foote in a couple of minutes. Kamensky gets his 30th. 3-2 Colorado. Late in the second now, Claude Lemieux down the wing, spots Sandis Ozolin streaking across, but Jeff Hackett gets there and stops him with a big save. On to the third now. Jeremy Roenick breaks in, and look at the pass to Tony Amonte, who gets his 22nd to tie the game at 3. And then Patrick Waugh with the big mistake. Plays it right to Eric Daze, who goes to Murray Craven. He gets his 14th of the year on the Hawks and their 4-game winless streak as they take it by a final score of 4-3, ending Colorado's 5-game winning streak. Also tonight, in the Western Conference, the Calgary Flames home to Pittsburgh. Rick Tabaracci gets the start for Calgary and comes up with an early save on Sergei Zubov. It's the Flames who score first in this game. Bad giveaway by the Penguins. Pavel Torgayev picks it off and goes in alone. Gets his 4th of the year as he beats Tom Barrasso. And that makes it 1-0 in favor of Calgary. Then, Some rough stuff. Francois Leroux takes on a true NHL heavyweight in Sandy McCarthy, who landed some of the late blows in this one, but Leroux hung in there against the tough Sandy McCarthy. No one's been tougher this year than Gary Roberts. Look at him get knocked down in the corner by Dmitry Mironov, but he gets up, takes the pass, and then works the give and go. Roberts scores the goal from the side of the net, his 14th of the year to make it 2-0. Eddie Johnson's team not playing very well, and it only gets worse. Gary Roberts now on the power play, takes the feed from James Patrick. His second of the game makes it 4-0 Calgary. With the score 5-0, Jaromir Jagr goes around the net and sets it up to Peter Nedved, who gets his 29th of the year, but it's window dressing. This night belongs to Gary Roberts, playing his 21st game of the year. He picks up the hat trick. Theron Fleury gets his 4th assist. Roberts gets his 16th of the year in 21 games, and Calgary is really putting it to Pittsburgh. Nedved has scored another, as is Brian Smolinski. 7-3 is the score in favor of the Calgary Flames. That is now a final as Roberts picks up the hat trick. Two earlier games played tonight. The Detroit Red Wings were home to the Islanders, and the Florida Panthers entertained the Washington Capitals. The scores and highlights from those games when our McDonald's second intermission continues.
What does it feel like to go through Club World fast-track arrivals in London?
What a great party. Let's not forget introductions. This here is new Molson Ultra. This here is the party. Get this. It's a new smooth 6.2% dry beer. Okay? Okay. Basically, you got a strong beer that doesn't feel like you're swallowing a small farm animal's food. That's my department. Molson Ultra, 6.2% dry, wickedly smooth beer.
Over 60,000 businesses across Canada have Advantage 800 numbers. Last year alone, over $1 billion were generated through them. Now just imagine if you couldn't depend on their reliability. Thankfully,
Gilbert Steel, Sales Division.
You can. Advantage 800 service. Everything in business should be this reliable.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. In just minutes a day, your thighs can look like...
2 mouth-watering patties and a rich...
Hypoallergenic base that makes your skin feel like...
Toupee in a can. Gets rid of bald spots. In fact, it looks just like...
Fabulous fake fur. Fantastic for my ruff-ruff. Now easier to handle with a warm grinder.
Life can be heavy. Keep it light. Clear your mind with a clearly great new taste. Check out new 7-Up Light.
What does it feel like in the new Club World tilting cradle seat?
If the season ended tonight, the Vancouver-St. Louis game you're watching would be a first-round playoff preview. So would the game being played in Miami tonight between Florida and Washington. The Panthers had won 3 of the 4 meetings against the Caps this season. In the final meeting of the regular season, Doug McLean's team looking to score. The Panthers have been outscored 10-1 in their last 2 losses. Like what he sees early on, Rob Niedermeyer lets it go here, beats only the goalie, Olaf Kolzig, 1-0 Florida. But Caps rookie Andrew Brunette, playing in just his 4th game, gets that back, beats John Van Beesbrook for his first NHL goal to tie the game at 1. Then the Cats catch a break. Johan Garpenlov sends it towards the goal. Robbie Niedermeyer tips it home. No chance for Kolzig. 2-1 Cats. In the second, Mike Huff. This is the first penalty shot in Florida history. Better luck next time. Stopped by Olaf Kolzig. Stage 2-1 of the closing stages. Washington pressing. Look at Andrew Brunette. Sends it out front to Dale Hunter. The Caps and the Cats play to a 2-2 tie. Florida with just 3 goals scored in its last 3 games. Washington outshot Florida 32-31. John Van Beesbrook came up with a huge save on Kelly Miller in the final seconds of overtime. So Washington with just 1 win to show for the 5 meetings against the Florida Panthers. Also tonight, the Detroit Red Wings run their record in February to 11-2. The Wings have won 9 of the last 10. They beat the Islanders in a home-and-home series, winning it by a final score of 5-1. The Islanders scored first in that, but Detroit scored 4 goals in the second, 5 unanswered goals overall.
McDonald's second intermission has been brought to you by your local McDonald's restaurants.
You know what's great about people? We come in all kinds of shapes and sizes, and no two of us are exactly alike. It's kind of like Mr. Sub. With all the great tastes and free toppings, you can have your Mr. Sub about any way you want. In lots of different sizes, too. So no matter what you're up to, Mr. Sub's got a size that's up to it. Hey, we're not out for world domination. We just like to change the shape of things to come. By the way, the future comes on white or whole wheat.
Getting set to send you back to GM Place. The second period scoring summary brought to you by Advil. For today's tough pain, Alexander McGillney gets his 50th goal of the season. It comes on the power play and gets the Canucks on the board. Shots on goal in that period, 13-4 in favor of the Canucks, who are just 1 for 6 on the power play. Bob McKenzie mentioned it. Blues kind of hit the wall there in the second, but this guy had a lot to do with it. Back to Paul and Gary.
Alexander McGillney with the 24 multiple-point games this year. In those games, Vancouver 15-4-5. When McGillney is hot, Vancouver is hot, and he will have to be just that here in this third period. Canucks looking for the come-from-behind win. Trailing 2-1 to start things off, and the team's at even strength. Lume gets it across in front to Linden. Couldn't bat it on goal. Here's Courtnall. Courtnall gets it across to Merzin, shoots! That stopped the big stretch by Fuhr. Courtnall hacked at the rebound. Here's Linden moving up, right across in front. Courtnall couldn't get his stick on it. Here's Merzin. Up off the boards, Gretzky just chops at it. Couldn't get it out. Great jump by the Canucks to start this period. Looking for that one to tie. Here's Linden, back for Lume. Lume shoots, and that is tipped way up and out of play.
Oh, the Canucks come out with some fire. Jyrki Lume is having a good season. When you're looking at comparing these two hockey clubs, of course, the St. Louis Blues, you look at Al McInnes. He's had 46 points coming into tonight's game. Jyrki Lume has had 40 points coming into the game. Lume has had good shots tonight. In fact, he's now had 4 of them. McInnes has had 2 in tonight's game. Yes, he does create offense from the blue line.
One of those trades you'd like to forget about if you were on the other end. He was traded for Craig Darby from Montreal back in 1991. Last I checked, Craig Darby was traded to the New York Islanders last year by Montreal.
Lume and Merzin play together. Most of the time, Merzin, the defensive defenseman. Lume adds the offense.
Here's Ronnie. Up ahead, McGillney coming in. Pearson tried to get that shot on goal, just gets it up to the corner. Hudson looking for it. Ronnie off the glass. McGillney. Power chuck there for St. Louis, pokes at it, but the Canucks prevail, and Henniken steps out to center. Has Tikkanen off to his left. Gets it to him. Tikkanen gets it back. Rolling, drilled one out on a nice play by Tikkanen to hit the trailer. And Rolling almost hit the back of the net with that shot. Tikkanen throws it up the middle. McGillney tried to pick it down, but it was a 2-line pass in any event.
McGillney tapped that puck out of the air. There you see the scoring chances. 6 for that line. McGillney with 4 of them. Tikkanen with a real smart play. Watch this. He could have gone to the net. He's skating backwards and feeds it to Rolene instead. Rolene with that big shot. Fuhrer with the bigger save. Grant Fuhrer has played very well for the Blues, especially in the second period when he made some big saves on the Canucks.
Bechara sends it up along the boards and out. Here's Noonan. Over to Barron. And tricky hop. McLean hangs on to it.
But he got his body in front of it. That puck was bouncing, bounced right up into his pads. Kirk McLean has had some injuries this season, and he has been great at times and has had some difficulties at other times. Corey Hirsch has played very well when called upon for the Vancouver Canucks. Kirk McLean played in the game against the Pittsburgh Penguins the other night, and Brickley knew that he's got to make sure that his number one is number one in time for the playoffs. There's Corey Hirsch sitting watching tonight.
Noonan after it there. Gets it up along the board. Stefan Matteau trying to dig it loose. Here's Peter Zezel. Back for Noonan. Matteau steps up after it. Zezel parked right in front, and I mean right in front, like almost on Kirk McLean's lap, and a penalty coming up. Zezel was a little too close for comfort there and was knocked to the ice by Joseph Baranek. And it looks as though Baranek will head to the box.
I don't think Baranek knew it at first. Zezel knew that Baranek was going. Baranek for interference. Zezel down parked in front of Kirk McLean.
St. Louis 1 for 4 on the power play tonight.
Actually, you know, Zezel was also parked right in the crease, and Baranek was attacking him from behind.
Here's Al McInnes shooting. McInnes has a power play goal tonight for St. Louis. Pronger pushing a wrist shot up there. McLean stops that. McInnes right off the shin guards of Jelena and down the ice.
Gretzky just pulled Jelena's elbow enough so that he lost possession of that puck.
Gretzky, Hull, and Corson up front for St. Louis in the power play. Here comes Hull. McInnes and Pronger back at the point. And Merson with enough room to get it out.
That puck, when it was run around the glass, seemed to be suspended for quite a long time. Everyone was waiting for it to come down off the glass. Oh,
Corson.
Good hit by Merson.
Yeah, bump there by Merson, and Merson will pick up the puck off the glass and down the ice. 1:03 to go in the power play.
And behind the play, Corson went after Merson and ended up falling. Two pretty sturdy guys on their feet.
Here comes Hull. Gets it across to Gretzky. Back from McInnes, up to Hull. Merson poked it away. Courtnall coming up there with McGillney on shot. 35 seconds left in the Blues power play as Al McInnes starts out. Hawerchuk crisscrossing there at the line. Kravchuk drops it back. Rebound just fired wide by Hawerchuk. Olsen waiting for that puck back at the blue line. Creighton will pick it up. He moves it up there. Puck comes in front for Creighton with a shot. That was blocked. Nice play by Hennigan, who will start it back. Courtnall rolls it up. McGillney tried to cut in there towards the net, but Pearson was watching him. Penalized player is back on.
Good job by Pearson picking up McGillney coming back.
Pearson goes after it. He's up there with Hawerchuk. Matteau comes into the corner. And they hack away. Puck comes loose. Hawerchuk back to the line, and it's skipped away from Christer Olsen. Matteau bouncing it down into Vancouver territory. 14:48 to go in the third period. 2-1, St. Louis leading Vancouver. St. Louis did all of its scoring back in the first period. McInnes and Gretzky with the goals. McGillney with his 50th of the year for Vancouver in the second. Here comes Baranek. And he really gets tangled up there with Murray Barron.
Good thing Baranek just backed off a bit, or he could have really been smushed into the boards.
Now McInnes with it.
Baranek's having a rough time out there.
Pass up behind Hudson. And a hat on the ice, and Bradchek Kuchera fell over top of that. Fuhrer with a nice stop. Good chance there for Trevor Linden, but Fuhrer with the answer again.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. In just minutes a day, your thighs can look like...
2 mouth-watering patties and a rich...
Hypoallergenic base that makes your skin feel like...
Toupee in a can. Gets rid of bald spots. In fact, it looks just like...
Fabulous fake fur. Fantastic for my rough roast. Now easier to handle with a roast wrangler.
Life can be heavy. Keep it light. Clear your mind with a clearly great new taste. Check out new 7-Up Light.
In a clinic like this, I can't stop for a headache. The doctor here told me about Advil. It's tough on pain, and it really works fast. In fact, 1 Advil is as effective as 2 regular-strength Tylenol. And for cold and sinus congestion, there's Advil Cold and Sinus. It's tough on colds, like Advil is on pain, and now it's available without a prescription.
Advil and Advil Cold and Sinus. Tough on pain, tough on cold congestion.
Closed captioning this period brought to you by Thruway Muffler, where top quality muffler suspension and brake service is fully guaranteed.
Man behind the mask, Brett Fuhrer has been hot again tonight for the St. Louis Blues.
Just made a nice stop on the way to commercial there on Trevor Linden.
Sure can't blame him for McGillney's goal. It was a beautiful tip.
Here's Linden with it. Miss Jelena with that pass. Merson moving up after the puck. Jelena along the boards against Corson. And here comes Gretzky.
He was 1-on-4 though.
Steep odds even for Gretzky.
Too many white sweaters out there for even him.
Jelena came in offside, tried to work it in there with Linden.
Barron making sure that he was taking Trevor Linden, the man that can get it going for the Canucks here in the third period. He took him right out of the play.
Murray Barron in his 5th season with the St. Louis Blues. One of a few players who've managed to hang around despite all the trades and player movement and wheeling and dealing by Mike Keenan.
And Murray Barron was there before Mike Keenan came. You often hear about Hull and McInnes. Actually, McInnes came to the team, what, about 5 days before Mike Keenan arrived? There you see the scoring chances. In this game thus far, Gretzky with those 2 scoring chances in the first period, Brett Hull with 3.
And penalty coming up right off the faceoff. Scott Walker heading back towards the bench. I don't know if he's going to end up going to the box or not. It's an interference penalty. And you can see Hudson heading off. And indeed, it's only 1 penalty being dished out.
Now there's the interference penalty on Hudson. He put his arm up in the air, but he was right in the line of fire of Merrill Lake. We're talking about the players that were there before Mike Keenan. Hull, McInnes, Dazzle McRae, that hardly plays anymore, and Murray Barron. Those were the only ones still left on the roster.
Here's Tikkanen. He'll work it across. McGillney is out there. Tikkanen going for the front. McGillney was up there as well. Trevor Linden looking great so far in this third period. Spearheaded another chance there. Corson Ricochets it back down into Vancouver territory. Lots of time, 1:35 to go in this power play for the Canucks. Vancouver down by 1 with 12:45 to go in the third period. Lume negotiates the blue line, gets it up. Here's Linden. Rolene moves it up. Linden will park himself in front. McGillney takes it. Tikkanen shooting, rebound. Linden crashing away, couldn't put it home.
Linden taking the hits. He's battling away in front of that net. He wants that tying goal badly.
1:05 to go in the power play for Vancouver. Here comes Esa Tikkanen. Not much further than the blue line. 52 seconds to go in the power play. Crisp pass up there to Ronnie. Courtney coming up hard after. And the puck bouncing there in the corner. Pronger right on top of it. And he will shovel it up ahead to Hull. Hull is by himself. Moves up there. Now Corson up to join it. And almost poked that one in. Cordno coming up way behind the play when Hull initially started the shorthanded rush. But by the time push came to shove, he almost shoved that one in.
Well, a very patient play by Brett Hull, and Corson, of course, following up on that play. But Kuchera also has got to be given full credit here. Watch the way that Kuchera plays him. He watches the body right here. He doesn't worry about the puck. Somebody else has got to take that. McLean did. Kuchera one-on-one against Brett Hull. Brett Hull was looking to try to put that puck through the feet of Kuchera and then get in and around him, but he didn't succeed.
34 goals this year for Brett Hull and 34 assists, which some people would look upon as being unusual. Hull not noted so much as a setup man, but as a guy who can finish, although I mentioned it earlier, that's taking away an awful lot from his game because he is a creative offensive player.
But he's got that blistering shot, and boy, if he gets set up and gets the opportunity to get it off, he can find the room in the net.
And so far tonight, in terms of that Gretzky to Hull with the big shot to try to finish, we've really only seen that once. And Kirk McLean made a nice save. Seconds left in the power play. The Canucks storming up there, running after it, trying to get away from Pronger. Pronger gets it around for Kravchuk. Teams at even strength. Mike Hudson coming in, trying to throw it across there in front for Howardchuk.
Howardchuk had Courtney with him, though, and Courtney was making sure that he knew exactly where he was.
Jelena up ahead, intended for Walker, who will give chase up there. Centered it in front. Big stop by Fuhrer on Jelena, who is going towards the net. Blues back the other way. Gretzky clears it up. Great chance for Martin Jelena to tie this game up. Here comes Baranek, hurrying up there to center. And he's stopped up at the blue line. Dana Merzen fires it in. Baranek moves up after it.
Corson and Merzen are going to go at it again.
Yeah, Merzen gave him a pretty good bump after he got rid of the puck. Now here's Merzen, shoots. And Corson is chasing him out by the blue line as the Canucks keep the pressure on. Gretzky with it. Merzen and Corson with a real battle going. They had the sticks up, practically jousting.
And Walker wants a piece of Corson now.
Last July, Corporal's Classic Celebrity Fishing Derby went to work the rain spots for the Cup.
10 to go in the third period. A little bit of emotion. Like to see that.
What a great party. Let's not forget introductions. This here is new Molson Ultra. Ultra, this here is the party. Get this. It's a new smooth 6.2% dry beer. Okay? Okay. Basically, you got a strong beer that doesn't feel like you're swallowing a small farm animal. That's my department. Molson Ultra, 6.2% dry. Wickedly smooth beer.
From Gillette comes a revolutionary form of protection for men. Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant. Unlike a stick that can stay in your underarm hair, this is a soft gel. It goes cleanly through the hair right down to the skin surface, to fight odor and wetness where it begins, and that means effective all-day protection. A revolutionary form, Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant.
Offsetting minor penalties coming out of all of that. Shane Corson is in the box for St. Louis, and Dana Merson for Vancouver.
I get a feeling that that battle's not over yet with Corson and Merson. They really desperately looked as though they wanted to go at each other.
They get high sticking minors, by the way. And what sparked all of that, other than Merson's hit on Corson, what sort of started that little scrap was when the two had their sticks up very high out by the blue line, and that's what Dan Merrielli ends up calling. 10-10 to go in the third period.
2-1 hockey game. The Canucks right now out shooting St. Louis Blues 27-18.
Close to 19,000 here tonight to watch this game. A little bit of hockey history. Wayne Gretzky starting the next phase of his career, playing his first game with the St. Louis Blues and scoring his first goal back in the first period on a breakaway. Hull and Gretzky out there now. He's playing 4-on-4, a little bit of extra room. Kravchuk gets it up ahead to Gretzky. He'll start off. Hull way over to his left. Gretzky fakes a shot, dropped it to Hull. He comes through, shoots. That's stopped by McLean. Nice save by McLean. Kravchuk moves it up. Here's Gretzky. Tried to get it back, but it bounced off of Courtnall. Here's Hull. Shoulders his way in over the blue line. Kravchuk coming up after it. Drops it there for Hawerchuk. And McGillney will take off. He stripped Hawerchuk of the puck. McGillney coming up there. Got it up. Nice pass intended for Kuchera. And it bounced away from him.
When McGillney gives you a pass, he gives you a hard pass. You got to be ready for it.
And two-line pass called there.
McGillney's got great strength in those arms of his. He's got a great shot, and when he gives you a pass, you better have both hands in your stick and be ready to receive it.
McGillney scoring his 50th of the season tonight, back in the second period.
Gretzky was looking for Brett Hull. He faked the shot. He gave it to Gretzky, or to Hull, and Hull just tried to walk in. He probably regrets that. He probably, if he had a chance to do it again, would have shot from the slot. He's in pretty good position.
Tikkanen up there at the face-off against Hawerchuk. Comes right back, and a sizzler off the stick of Leaf Rolene.
Good move by Rolene. He got that puck back to him. He just took a couple of steps over to his right where he could get off a better shot from a better position. But this man always seems to be in the right position. 2 steps to the right, the big slap shot. The big glove save by Grant Fuhr.
An interesting genesis in terms of Leaf Rolene's role with the team. Initially, they thought, this guy's just a defensive defenseman. That's what he's here for. But he's turned out to have some pretty good offensive tools.
He's not a young player either.
No, they drafted him way back in 1988. Waited 9 seasons for him to come over. He was playing over in the Swedish Elite League. Here's Kravchuk. Team's playing 4-on-4, and icing called on St. Louis. 8:44 to go in the third. You're watching Molson NHL Tonight at TSN.
It's as old as the wheel. Man seeks rental cars that are not only nice, but of course nearby. That's why Thrifty made them so handy. With car rentals right at the airport or right in the neighborhood.
And remember, each time you rent from Thrifty Car Rental, you'll earn 500 Canadian Plus points.
Your neighborhood Thrifty Car Rental, historically known tuned for low rates.
Here's a chunky soup with big chunks of vegetables and pasta in a hearty broth. How do you eat it?
Fork. Spoon.
Now, boys.
Mom, this year, Chunky's giving away Taidomi Bauer hockey sticks. No, they're Wendell Clark hockey sticks.
Boys, that's enough.
Okay, you settle it. Send in 7 labels from delicious Chunky Soup and order your free Wendell Clark or Taidomi Bauer hockey stick.
Okay, boys. 2 minutes and I don't want to hear another word out of either of you. Fork.
Welcome back to a place they affectionately call the Garage here in Vancouver. General Motors place.
Gretzky's had a tough time against Linden on faceoffs tonight.
McInnes gets it up around the boards. Hennigan fires it back in. Vancouver pressing for the tie. 8.5 minutes to go. 19 seconds left in the 4-on-4 situation. McInnes steps in, has a bit of room. Just a bullet off of his stick.
A little higher than he usually shoots.
Here's Adrian Aucoin. Up to Hennigan, back to Aucoin. Teams back to 5-on-5.
Gretzky's really been taking very short shifts. Howard Chuck has been coming out to relieve Gretzky. Hall stays out there.
Kravchuk to Pearson. He gives it away to Courtnall. McGillney was in offside. Courtnall bides some time. Rolene up ahead to McGillney. And couldn't get around Kravchuk. He just heads back to the bench. McGillney steps off. Tikkanen steps on. Kravchuk. And a couple of Blues in offside. 7:33 to go in the third period.
Canadian Tire has great prices on everything you need. Plus, earn Canadian Tire money with every cash purchase of merchandise. Great prices made better at Canadian Tire.
Gretzky's really been disciplined at taking those short shifts in the second and the third period. He's got to be tired. I mean, the emotion that he has been putting up with, the amount of controversy that has gone on, he's got to be a tired guy coming into this game. With short shifts, Howard Chuck's been ready.
Stoyanov tapping it down into St. Louis territory. Here's Baranek, centers it in front. Walker right there. There, that's tapped away. Walker after it along the board. Stoyanov over there too. Here's Kravchuk. Puck comes back. Rolene moves it up. Walker knocked to the ice for his trouble, but he kept the puck in. Kuchera after it, battling Noonan. And the Blues will hurry in a change. Kirk McLean seizing the opportunity, moved it up. Stoyanov dumps it down to the corner, and now the Canucks will squeeze in a line change. 6:35 to play in the third period. 2-1, the Blues leading the Vancouver Canucks. Mercer trying to slip away from Hull. Gets it up there. Gretzky tapped that pass. Shelena coming hard after it. Murray Barron clears it out. Here comes Mercer. Drops it for Jelena. That ricocheted off his skate. Lume hustling up there after it. Jelena's parked in front. Here's Lume. There's the chance. And there's the stop. Another one from Grant Fuhr.
Fuhr's really been holding the St. Louis Blues in the second and the third period. Of Vancouver Canucks have been mounting their comeback. They've had a tough time putting that puck by Grant Fuhr. Lume just walked in, picked up the puck. He goes around Gretzky right here, and that puck ended up being loose. Watch, Fuhr had it. Oh, no, he didn't have it. All of a sudden, he did at the end, but after he pulled it in with his right glove, Lume was standing right on the crease.
Vancouver out-chancing St. Louis for what it's worth. 19-10, but trailing 2-1. Grant Fuhr doing it again.
That's almost getting to be like a broken record, though, around St. Louis.
Howard Chuck gets up there. McGillney up ahead. Here comes Tikkanen. He's on the way. He has Ronning with him. Big rebound comes out, but Kravchuk handles that. Rolene fired it in. Chris Pronger with possession. Pearson looked up, saw Rolene, and stepped around him without the puck. Kravchuk after it. Tikkanen poked at that puck. McGillney trying to get loose at the side. Spinning, shoots, scores!
There's a goal, scores goal. He goes, he finds the puck, he turns, he shoots. McGillney heads up hockey, looking for that puck, and he found it.
What a beautiful shot as he spun around, had his back towards the net, and you said it, partner, a goal scorer's goal. His second of the night at 14:46. Has this guy come up big with Pavel Bure out of the lineup? You bet he has. 51 and counting.
He and Trevor Linden have really got the Canucks right back into a brand new hockey game. The Canucks outshot the Blues 13-4 in the second, now 12-8 in the third.
Here's Baranek. Kuchera there to pick it up. Clears it to Walker. Baranek takes it off his skate. He's thumped. Couldn't get out of the way of Stefan Matteau. Pass up ahead. Baranek making some progress there along the boards. Can't hold on to it though. McInnes. The wrist shot, big rebound comes out. Kuchera flags that down. Here is Dowd for Vancouver. Less than 4.5 minutes to go in regulation time. 2-2 hockey game. Chelina steps up there. Courtnall is coming hard going towards the net. Linden up there to help as well. But the puck cleared up over the glass and out of play. 4:07 to go. And we are in for a great finish to this one. Back in a moment.
With most other phone cards, you have to dial a complex access code of up to 11 digits before you can even begin to dial your call.
Flight 609, departing at 6:32 for gate 26 is now boarding. With passengers rows 18 through 35, please present your boarding pass at gate 26.
But with our calling card service, you just press 0 before you dial your call. Another reason why our calling card is the best card, period.
Last call for flight 609 at 6:32, departing from gate 26. All passengers.
Well, the Calgary Flames lit it up tonight, beating Pittsburgh 7-3. We'll see what they have in store for St. Louis next Thursday, March the 7th, here on TSN.
Well, they're fiddling away here at the GM place. Alexander McGillney has scored his 51st goal of the season, so he's probably going to get 60. That's what Pavel Bure got 2 years. They were hoping that Pavel Bure might get 50 or 60 this year. Well, he didn't because he was injured, of course, but Pavel Bure started skating on Monday. This was today. He's taking it easy, but the good news for the Canucks is the fact that he is skating. As I mentioned earlier in this hockey game, he's going to have an MRI done in a couple of weeks' time. Will he be back for the playoffs? The Canucks can only hope. They won't jeopardize his career for the sake of this year's playoffs.
Suffering from a torn anterior cruciate ligament, and has also been spending a fair bit of time in the hyperbaric chamber, which has been proven to assist in the healing of soft tissue injuries.
A lot of the teams in the league are using that machine now, started by the Canucks.
Here's Lume. And Pronger ties his man up back behind the play. Dan Morelli was up there keeping a close eye on it. Pronger off the glass.
The Blues had all the emotion in the first period and very little in the second and third. They too may all be very tired, just like Gretzky, no doubt, is.
McInnes throws it up there. Kirk McLean out to play it. Gets it to Dana Merzen. Up for Tikkanen. Lets it go for Ronning. Here comes Ronning. And crunched into the boards by McInnes.
Give him credit, though. Ronning went to the boards to try to get by. Little chance he was going to get by McInnes, though. McInnes lined him up perfectly.
McGillney gets it to Ronning. McGillney will hustle up there after it. Rolene clears it up. Knocked down. Pearson trying to come in over the line. Ronning back there to break it up. Here's Hudson. Out for Pearson. Pearson, not to be deterred, just dumps it up back of the net. Adam Creighton leaping up there to play it. Creighton against Ronning. How's that for a Mighty Mouse against the towering giant? Noonan up back of the net. Trying to throw that puck out. Off a skate, it hit Hudson's skate. Pronger clears it up. And offside called on the Blues.
Well, big Chris Pronger makes it very difficult for anyone to get around him when he's in front of the net. He's had a difficult season this year, though. He hasn't lived up by any means to expectations, but this is a very young guy that I think has got a bright future in the National Hockey League, but it's going to take some time. And Mike Keenan is patient. He knows that big, lanky defensemen that can handle the puck and have got some offensive abilities are sure hard to find in the National Hockey League.
He's only 21 years old.
And that you can't forget.
Matteau up there after it. Noonan in front. Matteau chopped at it. Kuchera stripped to the puck. Sezel was going for the front of the goal. Noonan looking for him. Noonan still. Back to Sezel. To Noonan. O'Coin trying to hold him at bay. Sezel with it. Great persistence by the Blues forecheckers here. Noonan with that puck. Sezel going after it again. And finally the Canucks just have to clear it out, streaking up after it. Walker tried to muscle in, and he was muscled out. And the puck just trickled harmlessly to Grant Fuhr.
Pretty good move by Walker. This guy is not short by any means of guts. I mean, this guy is as tough as nails and pretty good balance-wise right here. He tried to flip that puck and then get around the defenseman. Well, he was able to flip the puck, just couldn't get around his man. Give him A for determination.
See Walker up playing on right wing up front with Vancouver. Normally a defenseman. He played defense last year down in the minors with Syracuse.
With the crunch, and that's what he was Mr. Crunch.
334 penalty minutes. You kept your head up when he was out there for sure. Merzen shoots, tipped on the way through, and Fuhr read it and hangs on.
Vancouver have really been dominating on faceoffs tonight against the Blues. It just makes Grant Fuhr's job tougher. Trevor Linden especially has had a great night in the faceoff department.
57.6 seconds to go in this game. 2-2. St. Louis scoring both of its goals back in the first period. McInnes and Gretzky with the goals. McGillney has both Vancouver goals. Linden going after it. Bouncing his man along the boards. Here's Courtnall. Centers it. Went off his skate. Barron. Over there for Gretzky. He was bumped. Corson trying to come out. Has Hull up along the boards. Hull with it. Up for Gretzky. A little bit out of his reach. McInnes clears it in there. Jelena just taps it out. Here's McInnes. He just fires it right back in. McLean playing the bounce to Merzen.
You heard a lot of oohs and ahs in this building when that puck came off the backboards.
9 seconds left, and here comes Cordnell. Shoots, rebound. Linden was going for the net. Puck pushed it on goal, and Fuhrer will hang on to it. 1.7 seconds to go. It is possible.
Well, Kirk McLean should be coming out of the net, because I don't think it is possible to be able to score. So Kirk McLean, he's almost out. He's looking to the bench, because with the face-off deep to Grant Fuhrer's right, the Canucks have a chance to score, but the Blues wouldn't have.
What do you think, Coach? Are you pulling the goalie here?
Yeah, absolutely. Roger Nielsen used to have a theory that if it was under 3 seconds, then go for it.
Well, let's see what Rick Lee does so far. Yeah, he's going to call McLean over. Canucks get the extra attacker out there for the face-off. Well, Roger, the proponent of that theory you just tossed forth, looks on from the St. Louis bench. I don't wonder what this kid thinks. Good idea, bad idea. He'll love it if the home team scores.
The face-off alignment right now will be pretty interesting.
Tikkanen up to take the face-off.
Tikkanen's going to go right to the net. That's where Lume, Trevor Linden, and Rolin, or I should say Jelena, will be trying to crash.
Corson on the draw. 1.7 seconds to go. Corson against Tikkanen. And Tikkanen on the forehand. McGillney right back behind him, just on the right of your screen, just above the circle. And on the draw, it's going to come back. Well, they got a shot away, not on target, but we are heading to overtime. Blues and Canucks all tied at 2 after regulation. We are back with OT in a flash.
The Toyota 4x4s, legendary Toyota quality, not only lets you go your own way, it makes sure you get there and back.
Dave has a dilemma. What to put on Wendy's new bacon cheeseburger?
Hey, something mild. Play it safe. Come on, don't be a wimp. Give it some zing. Oh no, Gouda would be nice. Spice it up. How about pepper jack? Oh my.
Well, Dave started cooking. A quarter pound of fresh ground beef, bacon, the perfect sauce, and a slice of pepper jack cheese for a bacon cheeseburger that's really spicy.
Oh, Dave, be careful. Mind your own business. Attaboy.
Wendy's new pepper jack bacon cheeseburger.
Gotta be the cheese.
There's the man who scored the tying goal for the Vancouver Canucks at 14:46 of the third period. His 51st of the year, the second player in Vancouver history to hit that 50 mark. And what a goal this is. Spinning, shooting, and scoring. Picked it off.
He and Trevor Linden have been the leaders. McGillney has done it from scoring, but Trevor Linden has done it from his battling tonight.
And maybe Brett Hull for St. Louis in overtime. Wayne Gretzky making his debut with the Blues. Scored a goal on a breakaway back in the first period. And has set up Hull a couple of times, although Hull hasn't been able to finish.
Gretzky, Corson, and Hull stayed on the bench during those couple of minutes to rest. They didn't come out until just a couple of seconds ago. The way the game started, Gretzky versus Linden.
And here's McInnes. Overtime, Vancouver and St. Louis. And this is Merzen. Long pass gets it up ahead. Cornell's got the wheels. He comes in, back to Linden. He powers it on goal. That's kicked away. Puck bounced back up. Merson gets it ahead. Linden, he's been on fire in this third period. And here in overtime, he's had the best scoring chance. Offside called there.
Yeah, Cornell got tripped up, and so that's what created the offside. Cornell was streaking down that right side. He realized he wasn't going to be able to beat his man, so he went back with that puck. The big shot, the big save. Grant Fuhr once again.
It has been tough sledding at home for Vancouver this year. They are actually below 500 on home ice. Pronger fires it up around, just hopped by Adrian Aucoin. McGillney's out there. He's looking for the hat trick. His 50th and 51st goals of the season. Pearson bouncing it out. Puck cleared up, comes back to Pearson, just outside the blue line. Hudson threw it back. Pearson almost kept it in at the line. 3:55 to go in overtime. Wayne Gretzky, his debut as a Blue, scores in a breakaway back in the first period. McGillney's had the big night, just talking about that. Grant Fuhr and Kirk McLean have both looked solid in goal. And both power plays have been anything but powerful.
Well, after having 8 shots in the first period, the Blues were only able to muster up 13 in the next 2 periods.
So lack of offense continuing to haunt the St. Louis Blues. The third worst offense in the NHL. Tikkanen shoots, rebound came out. Just hopped away there. Dowd was in front.
Tikkanen's being held from behind by Murray Barron, and they've been battling away.
McInnes is pushing it towards the corner. Here's Henneken. 3:20 to go in OT. That's a Tikkanen on the way. Gets it across in front. Dowd couldn't cradle it up onto the forehand. Down in the corner. And jams things up long enough. And meanwhile, Tikkanen was stirring things up back out in the slot, having a few words with Murray Barron.
Now Tikkanen and Barron are finally going to the penalty box, and that was probably well-deserved on both of their part.
.305 to go in OT. And offsetting minors to Tikkanen and Barron.
Graham and Gretzky on the ice. Trevor Linden and Cornell on the ice for the Canucks.
Both slashing penalties, by the way, to Barron and Tikkanen. And what does Mike Keenan have to do to spark the offense? He picked up Wayne Gretzky. That's going to be a help. But still,
he's not finished yet. He's got more trades to make.
They have scored 5 goals or more in a game only 6 times this year. And that one just blown wide. Jyrki Lumme would love to have that shot again. He broke his stick on the shot. Here's Kravchuk, gets it up around the boards. Long pass up to Gretzky. Gretzky comes up there, has Pronger with him. Gretzky. Lots of time and gets it up ahead. Hall tried to return the favor to Gretzky. Here's Kirk McLean out to play it. Pronger knocks it down. Banking it back up there. Hull in the corner. Lumme all over him. Hull bulldogging away, but he couldn't get it in front. Here comes Linden. Linden back up to the line. Swings wide. Looks around. He has Lumme up there with him. Merson tried to tap that one. Cornell gets to it in the corner. Pronger with that puck. Up around to Hawerchuk. Here's Kuchera. Running. right in front of his own goal. Taps it ahead. McGillney is out there for Vancouver. Puck knocked down by McInnes. Corson stripped of the puck by McGillney. 1:43 to go. Here's Kuchera. Taps it up. Ronning going after it. This is Brett Hedican. Blues make a couple of changes. Gretzky comes over the boards and pokes at that puck there, but blowing right by him is Baranek with a shot. Rebound comes out. Cleared back up, and here's Gretzky. Gretzky just lifting it in. And Brett Hull's out there. Hull and Gretzky see if they can hook up in this remaining minute.
Tikkanen back on the ice and rested.
50 seconds to go.
Lume should have moved that puck quickly. The Blues were on a line change.
McLean leaving it there. Dana Merzen. Linden is out there. Gretzky's out there. Hull is out there. All the big guns. Linden just slipped out of the way of a check. Tikkanen coming up. Dropped it back. And that's broken up. Weird bounce off the boards. Howard-Chuck goes after it. Corson breaking up the middle. Couldn't connect on that pass. Kirk McLean. 20 seconds to go. Merzen taps it up to the line. It's banked out. Howard-Chuck fires it right back in. Corson moving up after it. Here's Lume. To Courtnall. Hull chopping at that puck. 4 seconds left. And the St. Louis Blues and the Vancouver Canucks battle to a 2-2 tie.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks, I think that both teams have got to be pretty happy with this tie. The way that the Canucks got started in this game, the end of the first period, they were down by a couple. You had to ask them then, yeah, they would have taken the tie. Meanwhile, for the St. Louis Blues, the way they played in the second and third, they've got to be very pleased with the tie on the road.
So it's status quo in the Western Conference overall standings. St. Louis with 64 points, Vancouver with 63. The Blues 1 point up on the Canucks, and Wayne Gretzky in his debut as the Blue picks up a goal. A nice one on a breakaway. 2-2 the final. More still to come in Molson NHL tonight.
The Gillette $25 million hockey pool leader as of games played up to and including February 25th is Pierre-Yves Mayor of Saint-Laurent, Quebec with 843 points. The weekly winners are Helene Deschaise of Davelouville, Quebec. She wins a JVC 35-inch color TV. And Dave Grandy of Mississauga, Ontario, who wins CCM hockey equipment. The perfect team for the week ending February 25th would have gained 74 points. And the winner of the $5,000 prize for the greatest gain in points from January 29th through February 25th is Ralph Schlupp of London, Ontario with 182 points.
Men, is gray hair sneaking up on you right under your nose?
It is sneaking up on me. Here, too.
You need Just for Men gel. Brush in and in 5 minutes rinse.
It's the sure thing for a natural look.
Just for Men gel.
The revolution will be led by Jason Kidd, Jason Kidd, Jason Kidd, but he will not face the nation, meet the press, or host a revolution online cyber chat, because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised, and the revolution will not fail. But with every no-look pass, every three-point shot, every crossover, and every strong finish, Jason can speak for the revolution. For the revolution is about basketball, and basketball is the truth.
From Gillette comes a revolutionary form of protection for men. Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant. Unlike a stick that can stay in your underarm hair, this is a soft gel. It goes cleanly through the hair right down to the skin surface to fight odor and wetness where it begins. And that means effective all-day protection. A revolutionary form, Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant.
One of these men had gray hair just 5 minutes ago. Can you guess who used Just for Men hair coloring? Just apply, and in 5 minutes, rinse. Who used Just for Men?
I did, in just 5 minutes.
Bring back the look of natural color with Just for Men.
Here are tonight's Molson 3 stars. Trevor Linden with 1 assist is star number 3. Alexander McGillney got his 50th and 51st goals of the year. He is star number 2. And the man who made 36 saves in the St. Louis goal, the former Oiler and King, Grant Fuhr, is tonight's Molson first star. Back with more on the NHL Tonight in just a moment.
There's a very simple reason why there's nothing more reliable than Advantage 800 service. It's not the fact that even our backup systems have backup systems, or that a call can be routed through 8 million alternate routes if there's a problem. It's because if it isn't reliable,
We're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
you might as well do this to your business. Advantage 800. Everything in business should be this reliable.
Mario Lemieux is out to make a little bit of history. We may be in for some of it tonight. His next goal will be his 500th. Al Lemieux, and there's number 500. Mario Lemieux.
Now, every time Mark Messier steps out on the ice could be an historic moment. He shoots, he scores! Mark Messier, number 500. What a night for Mark Messier.
What gives Wendy's new Pepper Jack Bacon Cheeseburger that spicy hit everybody loves? The quarter pound of fresh ground beef, the bacon, the perfect sauce, or the Pepper Jack cheese?
Gotta be the cheese.
Wendy's new Pepper Jack Bacon Cheeseburger. It is the cheese.
What's so new about new Speed Stick Clear deodorant? Take a look at this gel. See? It's wet and sticky. And mine, it goes on dry.
New Speed Stick Clear. It's more than clear. It's clearly dry.
By Menon.
Now in 4 fresh scents.
Mazda Protege, an outstanding warranty. Sports sedan poise and composure, road and track. Featuring award-winning Opta-Space design. Protege SE at this new low price. Protege.
Time now for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Interstate Batteries. Third period, and a goal scorer's goal. Watch Alexander McGillney. Goes to the front, loose puck, turns, aims, fires, picks it off. His second of the night, 51st of the year. This game ends up tied at 2. 25th time this year McGillney has had a multiple point night. Canucks 15, 4, and 6 in those games. A cash donation we made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of coaches in amateur sport on behalf of TSN and Interstate Batteries. They check them before you buy them for fresh power guaranteed. 2-2 the final in Gretzky's debut as a Blue. That's the story from Vancouver.
Thanks very much, Paul. The final line of Wayne Gretzky tonight, 33 shifts, 29 minutes and 13 seconds, 2 shots, 1 goal. He scored his first shot as a St. Louis Blue. It's time now for our Advil goal of the night. What to pick? What to pick? Well, we go back to the first period, and what else are you going to take? But Brett Hull flipping it ahead to Wayne Gretzky, who scores the 830th goal of his career, the 16th of the season, but most importantly, it's his first goal as a St. Louis Blue, and it came on a breakaway, no less. His father, Walter, joked that he's been working on these lately. Wayne Gretzky with the goal. That's our Advil goal of the night, brought to you by Advil for today's tough pain.
Hey, how's your day shaping up? Is it a round day with lots of the usual stuff, like a billion or so other people? Or is it a flat day where you're paying for the goodies one at a time? Or maybe you're going for the truly creative, harmonious form of a Mr. Sub. Fresh baked buns, incredible tastes, and toppings that are actually free. A very face-friendly configuration. Hey, we're not out for world domination. We just like to change the shape of things to come. So have a nicely shaped day.
Me because I'm beautiful. In just minutes a day, your thighs can look like
2 mouth-watering patties and a rich
hypoallergenic base that makes your skin feel like
toupee in a can. Gets rid of bald spots. In fact, it looks just like
fabulous fake fur. Fantastic for my retro. Now easier to handle with a roast wrangler.
Life can be heavy. Keep it light. Clear your mind with a clearly great new taste. Check out new 7-Up Light.
Let me get this straight. I can't use my phone card to phone home to Canada?
With most other cards, you can't make a long-distance call from outside of Canada or the U.S.
Then why do they call it a phone card? Yes, I'd love to ask the company that.
But with our calling card service, you can call Canada. 100 countries worldwide. Another reason why our calling card is the best card, period. Just call us and get it free.
Molson NHL Tonight on TSN is brought to you by new Molson Ultra, wickedly smooth beer. By new 7-Up Light, clear your mind. And by Advantage Long Distance Services from the Alliance of Canada's only full-service telecommunications companies.
The impact of Wayne Gretzky. A week ago Wednesday, he played in Edmonton with the Los Angeles Kings. They had a crowd of about 13,000. With the announcement that Gretzky had been traded to the St. Louis Blues, Edmonton's game at home against St. Louis on Sunday afternoon in Edmonton is very close to a sellout, and the Oilers expect it to sell out sometime tomorrow. Gretzky already having an impact with the St. Louis Blues. He gets his first goal as a Blue tonight. The Blues get a point, but it's a tie against the Vancouver Canucks, and give the Canucks credit. Alexander McGillney, very quietly on this night, scores 2 goals, his 50th and 51st of the season. Coming up next for us on the NHL Tonight, guess who? Well, we had the Flames and Blues already on the schedule, but now we get the added bonus of seeing Gretzky again. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, next Thursday, March the 7th. The CHL Tonight is back tomorrow night with Sherbrooke against the Halifax Mooseheads. You can see Christian Dubé and the gang in action in the CHL. For Bob McKenzie, Paul Romana, Gary Green, and all of us at TSN, I'm Gord Miller. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next on ESSO NHL Saturday night.
This is TSN.
I'm David Pratt. Join me for the Bottom Line on Sports here in Vancouver on TSN Coast to Coast.
Yeah. And you could reach
Due to
with
the
either
length of
hand.
adventure right here on The Great Outdoorsman.
If you would like information on how you can obtain a home video copy of this episode and other episodes from the Great Outdoorsman television series, please call us at area code 905-689-1112 or write to The Great Outdoorsman, 937 Center Road, Waterdown, Ontario, LOR 2HO. Outdoorsman on TSN. Brought to you in part by Ford Motor Company of Canada Limited. High-tech footwear and apparel for out there and beyond. Rapala by Normark, the world's #1 fishing lure. And by Yamaha Motor Canada.
John Summerfield's snowmobiles Ontario's near North Trails on the next episode of The Great Outdoorsman. Join us Sunday, March 3rd at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Time, right here on TSN.
What a big fish.
This is TSN.
From Calgary, Alberta, this is TSN, Coast to Coast.
Coming up on TSN Sports Desk, Gretzky hopes to make Vancouver feel the blues in his St. Louis debut. The new Flames look to ignite Calgary's playoff hopes. The Admiral goes airborne as the Raptors try not to be grounded again. O'Donnell leaves the Steelers and signs with the Jets in a blink of an eye. The Ottawa Roughriders hope Steve is tailor-made for their offense. Derek may be a middleman in Montreal to coin a phrase. And Canadian speed skaters gear up for what could be a golden weekend in Calgary. Hey, talk about shooting a perfect game? TSN Sports Desk is on the way.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our show. I'm Michael Landsberg. The St. Louis Blues believe that Wayne Gretzky can once again be a dominant player. They believe it, and they are banking their season on it. Thursday night, they got their first look at Gretzky in blue as the Great One made his St. Louis debut in Vancouver. One of those really exciting nights. You just wanted to watch it and be a part of it. Wayne Gretzky looking sharp in his number 99 blue. Let's see how sharp he plays. Brett Hull, got to love this. And certainly Gretzky's got to love playing beside Brett Hull. And those two are a factor early on in the first period. It's already 1-0 for St. Louis. Brett Hull up to Stephane Matteau, up to Wayne Gretzky. And yes, a flair for the dramatic. He's always had it, and he buries it. 2-0 St. Louis. Gretzky scores in his debut game, but the Canucks come right back. Gorgeous deflection by Alexander McGillney. With that goal, he becomes just the second Canuck ever to score 50 in a season. The Canucks look for the equalizer in the third. Scott Walker drops it for Martin Gélina, but watch Grant Fuhr squeeze the pads. Fuhr played a huge game for St. Louis, but he can't stop them all. Third period, late. Time winding down. McGillney spins and fires. What a player he is. Beautiful shot, top shelf. Score tied at 2. This one went into overtime, and it ended in a tie. But Wayne Gretzky, with a goal in his debut, looks like he's pretty happy. Final score, 2-2, St. Louis and Vancouver. Again, McGillney, the second Canuck to reach 50. The other one, of course, was Pavel Bure. The Blues' six-game road unbeaten streak, and they had to like the way things worked with Wayne Gretzky. And let's get more. Let's hear from the Great One with our Bob McKenzie.
Well, Wayne, by our count, close to 29 minutes of ice time tonight. That's considerably more than you were playing in Los Angeles. How'd your first game feel with the Blues?
Well, I loved every minute of it. I really enjoyed the pace and the intensity level, and players play hard, and I really had a lot of fun out there. I mean, it's something I look forward to. You know, as I said earlier, it's been a tough 2 days, and to get the first one out of the way and get the first goal out of the way, I feel really pretty good.
I would imagine that it's as much an emotional thing as it is a physical thing for you.
It is. It's been emotionally draining the last couple of days, and I don't care how long you played in the league, and I don't care what you've done. You know, when all eyes are on you, it's still nerve-wracking, and I know that I heard somebody say there's close to 800 press people come in, and you get nervous. I mean, I don't like to fail, and I don't like to let people down, and Mike Keenan has stepped forward, and the Blues have stepped forward, and I'm going to do the best I can to help them win. And yeah, I was nervous tonight. I'm glad the first one's over. Unfortunately for me now, the next two are going to be tough too. I go back to Edmonton, where it's always emotional for me, and then the first one at home. So I think once we get past these first 3 games, things will calm down.
If you were to break your game down tonight, what did you like about it? What didn't you like about it?
Well, I was pretty happy with my intensity as far as the speed of the game. You know, I'm used to playing 17, 18, 19 minutes, and to play 29 minutes at that pace and that level and playing against that line we played against, I felt pretty good out there. And I know I'm just going to get stronger as the games go on. I'm just going to get in better shape and in game shape, and I'm just going to feel better as we go along here. So I'm pretty happy about the way things went. Wish we would have won, but hey, take a point.
Well, great. Congratulations on your first night out, and now back to Sports Desk.
Wow. Maybe the best way to describe the Flames game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Wow. This was the Flames' first game since the surprising deal which saw them send Phil Housley to the Devils for suspiciously little, but Calgary didn't seem to be lacking anything on Thursday night, and this guy is going to make them forget Phil Housley, but Tommy Alberline is a solid defenseman. Classic. Gary Roberts already 1-0 for Calgary. Watch Roberts take the cross-check in the back, but he gets up, works his way towards the net. Now watch the excellent backhand feed. This is superb isolation. Roberts in front, then goes forehand, backhand, sweeps it in. Beautiful play. 14th goal, 2-0 Calgary. Second period, the Pens can clear. T-Top moves in, nifty. Backhand move, 3-0 Calgary. The Pens trailed at 4-0, 5-0. Eddie Johnston goes, you know, this 29th day of the month really stinks. They answer the call early in the third. Meanwhile, Trottier probably going, hey, I'll come out of retirement. Yager behind the net with a feed to Nedved. 5-1 hockey game, but that's as close as they could get. This was the Flames' best game of the year and maybe the best game in years. T-Top to Roberts, third of the night, third hat-trick of the year. What a season, what a comeback season for Gary Roberts, and what a night for the Flames. 7-3 Calgary over Pittsburgh. Roberts 28 points in 21 games this season. Theo Fleury with 4 assists. Here's an important game. It's the Avalanche and the Blackhawks. These two could be battling in their division for some time. Patrick Waugh and company riding a 5-game winning streak, but their first power play does not do well. Jeremy Roenick strips Joe Sakic. He wheels his way to the center, gets his own rebound, and rattles it in. Just great hustle by JR, 1-0 for the Hawks. Jeremy Roenick, superb game, but the Colorado Avalanche come right back. I almost said Rockies. Forsberg to Adam Foote to Chris Simon, and Simon rattles one home, and that all ties it at 1. To the second period, the score is tied at 2. Foote with a point shot. Valerie Kamensky with a redirection right there into the corner. Kamensky with his 30th. Avalanche led it 3-2, but they can't hold it. Jeremy Roenick, watch him move in on Ozolic. He's flying. Roenick with a feed in front to a Monty. Gorgeous play by Roenick. Score tied at 3. And there's Dazed, and there's Daze. Waugh a little bit dazed in this play. Daze grabs it, throws it in front, and snapped home by Murray Craven. Bad cough up by Patrick Waugh, and a big, big victory by Chicago over Colorado, 4-3. The Hawks moved to within 3 points of Colorado for the second-best record in the Western Conference, 4-3. Chicago over Colorado. The Avalanche first loss when leading after 2 periods. On the Red Wings schedule, it shouldn't say visitors, it should say suckers, because only a sucker is going to think that they've got a shot at winning at Joe Louis right now. Wings were home to the Islanders, and New York were facing these numbers. Detroit had lost twice all season at the Joe. That's 30 games, and they'd won 11 straight. And let's see if it continued. Mike Milbury got to be a little squeamish about this one. He needs some great goaltending, and he gets it early on. Larionov to Fedorov, but Tommy Soderstrom sprawls, makes the fine save. Maybe that's what the Islanders need. Time winding down in the first. Still scoreless. Ziggy Palffy corrals the puck past Coffey on the breakaway, and Palffy with a roofer on the backhand. 1-0 the Islanders after 1. Second period, the Wings are in 2-on-1. It's still a 1-0 game. Doug Brown buries it right there. Short side on Soderstrom. Score tied at 1. Now the Wings start to roll. Later on, Nicholas Lidstrom cutting through the slot. He's alone. Lidstrom with a great forehand move, 2-1. And shield your eyes in this one. I'll tell you, the glare off his forehead could blind you. That's Kirk Gibson. Ahead 3-1. Detroit adds another one. Paul Coffey cross ice to Dino Ciccarelli. Ciccarelli snaps one home, and what looked to be a promising first period for the Islanders. Long gone. It was 4-1 at that point. It finished up 5-1. Detroit over the Islanders. The Red Wings' second 12-game home winning streak of the season. Osgood with his 9th straight victory. Detroit just continues to roll, as we will. To the Capitals and the Panthers. Doug McLean's team has been outscored 10-1 in their last 2 games, but he likes what he sees early on. Rob Niedermeyer lets one fly, and Ole the goalie can't stop it. 1-0 for Florida. But the Caps rookie Andrew Brunette gets that one back. Brunette beats John Van Beesbrook. First goal of his NHL career. Been waiting to say this. Maybe blondes don't have more fun. Maybe it's brunettes. Panthers then catch a break. Johan Garpenlov sends it in. Niedermeyer tips it. No chance for Kolzig. 2-1 for the Panthers. They got to start getting it back. This has been their poorest month. Penalty shot. Mike Huff is stoned by Kolzig. He sticks the big pad out. It remained 2-1 Florida in the closing stages. Brunette feeds it out front. Dale Hunter one chance. Dale Hunter another chance. Yes, he sweeps it in. And the Caps and the Cats play to a 2-2 tie. Panthers suffered their first losing month of the season, though, 4-5-3 in February. 2-2 Washington and Florida. The Maple Leafs released their playoff ticket prices. Primo tickets are up to more than $100 a pop. The Leafs, of course, want to sell a few of those, so they are doing whatever they can to ensure some playoff success. That meant another trade, this one with the New York Rangers, and here's how it worked. The Leafs get Wayne Presley and Nick Kypreos from the Rangers. Now the guy's going to help the slumping offense, to be sure. Presley's 30, has 10 points in 61 games for the Rangers. Kypreos is now 29 and is in the NHL for his toughness. Going to New York, Sergio Momesso and Bill Berg. Momesso's been a big disappointment since being acquired from Vancouver. Berg's been a useful and dedicated player in his time with the Maple Leafs. Meanwhile, in other hockey news involving the Maple Leafs, first, Toronto has learned that Dave Gagner will miss 2 weeks because of a sprained shoulder. Gagner was ridden heavily into the boards by Keith Tkachuk in the third period of Wednesday night's loss to the Winnipeg Jets, so he's out for a couple of weeks. Ranger defenseman Kevin Lowe will be out for at least 4 weeks. He suffered a strained groin in Tuesday's 5-3 loss to the Caps at Madison Square. Lowe has 1 goal and 5 assists in 51 games this season for the Rangers, and they'll miss his leadership to be sure. Pavel Bure's rehabilitation continued in Vancouver. He took the ice Thursday for a light skate. That's great news. He'll have an MRI in a couple of weeks, and he speculated on the possibility of his return this season.
I know for sure there's always a chance I can come back this season, but we'll see how my knee will respond on the ice. I'm still working a lot in the gym, and basically just skating around and shoot some pucks.
Still to come on Sports Desk, the Raptors tangle with the Spurs in San Antonio. Neil O'Donnell trades in his black and gold for green and white. And the Rough Riders hope Steve Taylor will be the answer for their offense. Those stories when Sports Desk returns.
Got you a little unhinged? Then get in on Swiss Chalet's real early summer half side rib special. Medium tender summer barbecue side ribs, picnic style coleslaw, your favorite side dish, and a scrumptious slice of garlic bread. All at the sizzling summer price of just $6.75. Chalet's half side rib special. Hey, we're into it.
Let me get this straight. I can't use my phone card to phone home to Canada?
With most other cards, you can't make a long distance call to Canada or the U.S.
Then why do they call it a phone card? Yes, I'd love to ask the company that.
But with our calling card service, you can call Canada. 100 countries worldwide. Another reason our calling card is the best card, period. Just call us and get it.
Now for the NBA, and the Raptors continuing to labor through their 7-game road swing. They were in San Antonio for their first visit, hoping for better things Thursday night. The Alamo Dome certainly sat well with super rookie Damon Stoudemire in his first visit. He shone at the rookie All-Star game, and let's see if he can continue it. He's coming off a 19-assist game versus Akeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets. But the key to this game is, can the Raptors stop David Robinson? And now I can relate to this. You go up for the big dunk, and you just come up a little bit short. Then things get a little bit rough. Jean Tabak and Chuck Person. Bad mistake, because you don't want to wake up Chuck Person. He'll play a sleepy game, but he wakes up. Look out. The Rifleman fires for 3. Excuse me. The Rifleman fires for 3. Must have something in my throat. The Rifleman fires for 3 again. The Rifleman with 19 points for the Spurs as they led 29 at the half. I think I've overused the nickname just a tad. And it doesn't get any better in the second half of the Raptors. Watch the Admiral here. Plenty of room over the rim this time. That was a pretty play, unless you're a Raptors fan. Robinson finished with 21 points, and San Antonio beats Toronto by 25. The Raptors' 7th straight loss, and they committed a season and franchise high, of course, 30 turnovers. Let's go to New Jersey now. Shaq and the Magic trying to improve on their sub-500 road record. First quarter, Anthony Bowie with a dish to the big man inside, and Shaq throws it down. It's real easy for Shaq when he gets in that position. Magic off to a good start. Now, he works the low post well, but so too does this guy, Penny Hardaway. Watch this. Double team, little shake and bake at the baseline. That's a fine play. 54-45. Strong power move. Speaking of strong power players, one of the NHL's best, Scott Stevens, enjoying the action. I gather we'd assume with his daughter. Third quarter now. The Magic take it to the nets. Shaq one-on-one with Sean Bradley, shrugs him aside, absolutely schools him. Then Shaq leads the fast break, and that is another pretty play. Shaquille O'Neal and the Orlando Magic pour all over New Jersey, 114-98. And keep in mind, they have not been great on the road, so that was a big win for them. Dennis Scott, 30 points, 8 3-pointers. Let's take a look at the rest of the scores around the NBA. The man accused of murdering Michael Jordan's father 2.5 years ago has been convicted. The jury in Lumberton, North Carolina, deliberated for just 4.5 hours before finding Daniel Green, 21 years of age, guilty. Green was found guilty on all charges: first-degree murder, first-degree robbery, and conspiracy in the July 23, 1993 attack on James R. Jordan, who was murdered as he napped in his car along the roadside. The district attorney who handled the case said Thursday that he would seek the death penalty in Green's case. Is it just me, or is there something just really not right about Neil O'Donnell signing a 5-year, $25 million contract? Neil O'Donnell signed with the Jets on Thursday, which may explain it. The Jets, of course, have hardly been astute judges of talent. O'Donnell turned down an offer from the Steelers, and one of the reasons, besides the $25 million, was the chance to return home.
It always was a dream come true to always come back here and play in front of my family in the hometown in the Meadowlands. I really didn't know when it would happen, but looking back on it and, you know, measuring the pros and cons, I look at it as, you know, this is a great opportunity for Neil O'Donnell.
We have a quarterback who's just approaching the greatest part of his career, has improved every year, has won big games, has played in big games.
I've done almost everything except win a championship there in Pittsburgh. Now I look at the Jets, and the Jets are moving in the right direction. I mean, they're going out getting players. It seems like everyone seems very excited in this building. So I look back, and it always was a dream come true to come home and play.
Defensive starter.
Neil O'Donnell. Other football news now. Natron Means, who led San Diego with over 1,300 yards rushing 2 years ago, was released Thursday in a startling move that allowed the Chargers to sign defensive end Marco Coleman to an offer sheet. The Chargers believe they have enough depth to allow Means to go. Dispersal drafts are becoming a specialty of the Hamilton Ticats. Last year, they traded up to get quarterback Anthony Cavillo, a move that in part allowed them to deal quarterback Steve Taylor to the Ottawa Roughriders on Thursday to get, amongst other things, an extra pick in the upcoming auction of talent. And there'll be some great talent. The Roughriders pick up the 29-year-old quarterback Steve Taylor with 7 years of CFL experience. Taylor now reunites with former Ticat coach Dieter Brock, who was hired as the Riders' offensive coordinator in this offseason. Last year, Taylor shared the quarterback duties with Anthony Cavillo. Steve Taylor, now a member of the Ottawa Roughriders. He was a fine one at Nebraska. In return, the Ticats receive all-star defensive back Brent Young, a good receiver kick returner as well. The Riders also get the second pick in the upcoming dispersal draft of talent.
Steve was the odd man out, and certainly with a lot of experience in the CFL. We was with him when he was in Edmonton and in Calgary, and I brought him down here last year. I think he has the potential to be a tremendous quarterback, but right now we felt we wanted to go with AC and Mike Kerrigan as our two quarterbacks.
The effect of Taylor's acquisition means that the Riders' on-again, off-again romance with Andre Ware is off again. They released the Heisman Trophy winner on Thursday. Still ahead on TSN Sports Desk, the Expos unveil their version of the French Connection. We'll have that story for you, plus 200 of the world's fastest skaters glide into Calgary. Stay tuned.
Psoriasis, seborrheic dermatitis, dandruff. Symptom, persistent, itchy, flaky scalp. Solution, Neutrogena T-Gel. It works. Neutrogena T-Gel Shampoo.
Winter got you a little unhinged? Then get in on Swiss Chalet's real early summer half side rib special. Medium tender summer barbecue side ribs, picnic style coleslaw, your favorite side dish, and a scrumptious slice of garlic bread. All at the sizzling summer price of just $6.75. Chalet's half side rib special. Hey, we're into it.
There's not really a difference in the driving style. If once you're on the edge with one car, you should be able to get on the edge with the other one. An F1 is lighter, more nimble, react quicker to anything you do on the pedals or the steering wheel. So you adapt a little bit, but it's not something completely new.
With most other cards, you have to dial a complex access code of up to 11 digits before you can even begin to dial your call.
Flight 609, departing at 6:32 from gate 26 is now boarding. With passengers rows 18 through 35, please present your boarding pass at gate 26.
But with our calling card service, you just press 0 before you dial your call. Another reason why our calling card is this card, period.
Last call for flight 609 at 6:32, departing from gate 26. All
psoriasis, seborrheic dermatitis, dandruff. Symptom, persistent, itchy, flaky scalp. Solution, Neutrogena T-Gel. It works. Neutrogena T-Gel Shampoo.
Not a ton of scores to report, too, in the CHL and the OHL. In fact, it was Peterborough over Oshawa 6-2 and Windsor over Sarnia 7-4. University of Moncton hockey players have apologized to that referee they assaulted in Charlottetown last weekend. Members of the Blue Eagles said the attack on Brian Carragher was simply not acceptable or excusable. They apologized to Carragher as well as their opponents, the UPEI Panthers, the university itself, and the fans who were there. An apology, though, may not do it. Police say charges are imminent, and the AUAA expects to announce disciplinary actions within a week. New record for shortest retirement. Tony Phillips is back. He retired 2 days ago, citing family problems, but he told the Chicago White Sox that he will report on the weekend. Phillips, coming off his best season ever, had just signed a 2-year, $3.6 million contract with the White Sox. He cited family problems as his reason for quitting, but said the problems have been solved, and he will report to camp on Saturday. In terms of total fine, it was the biggest ever. In terms of cost per profanity, we're not sure. Major League Baseball issued a fine to Indians outfielder Albert Bell to the tune of $50,000. That's the largest fine ever handed out to a player. Bell spewed an assortment of profanities at NBC's Hannah Storm prior to Game 3 of the World Series. As the Expos embark on another season, they once again face the daunting task of bringing new fans out to the Big O. Even good results don't always do that. The Expos know that one proven way is to feature some local talent, and Derek Aucoin may help in that area. Michael Whalen has the story.
He's been the center of attention, drawing a large following whenever he pitches since the beginning of camp. That's because Derek Aucoin is the first native son pitcher in 20 years to come up through the Expos system and be invited to their major league camp. And it looks like the big 6'7" hard-throwing right-hander has a chance of making it, not in his accustomed capacity as a closer, but probably as a middle reliever.
It's not the role I've been accustomed to over the past year, and in Ottawa and in the Arizona Fall League. But I mean, you got to get your experience somewhere, huh? It's a long season, a lot of things, injuries and player moves and everything like that. So a lot of things can happen.
The key for Aucoin will be how he handles the pressure of the constant scrutiny that he'll see over the next few weeks. Fortunately, he has a fellow francophone on the team that can empathize with the situation.
He's in one of those situations where he's young, and he's just learning, and you know, hopefully that we can talk about it and try to keep a positive image about what you have to do on the field.
In 1969, the year the franchise began, Claude Raymond became the first Quebecer to play for the Expos, but his career was winding down by the early 70s. Today, he's a broadcaster for SRC and sees a different kind of pressure for the likes of Cormier and Aucoin.
Not because of the media, but everywhere they're going to go. They're going to go grocery shopping, they're going to go downtown, everybody's going to recognize them, and they're going to say, hey, what happened last night, and what are you going to do? And I think that's the biggest concern that I would have right now if I was a French-Canadian coming up to the big leagues.
So far, he's had a very good camp. He's picked up where he's left off in Arizona. We still have some delivery flaws that we have to contain before we send him out there in a game.
It's pretty simple. The way I look at it is if I go out there and I do a good job, I'm going to be part of the team. And if I have a bad outing or two bad outings, I could kiss the team goodbye for the beginning of the year. So, I mean, that's not too much pressure. I have my goals, I have my objectives, and I have a pretty good plan of what I want to accomplish here.
After 6 years in the minor leagues, Aucoin figures that he's paid his dues. Somehow, some way, he wants to be part of the major league experience. As if he didn't have enough on his mind, Aucoin is here in camp trying to learn a new stance and a new delivery. A stance that will be less stressful on his shoulder. That's a shoulder that had him out of baseball for a full year. Michael Whalen, TSN, in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Thanks, Michael. Time for our Wendy's highlight of the night, and I mean, where are we going to go? We're going to go to Vancouver, of course, for Wayne Gretzky in his debut for the St. Louis Blues. It's already 1-0 in the first period. Gretzky in the breakaway, and he has always had a flair for the dramatic, and he shows it one more time. Great to see the smile back for Wayne Gretzky. Take a look at it one more time. Gretzky's first goal as a Blue is our Wendy's highlight of the night.
The highlight of the night has been brought to you by Wendy's Old-Fashioned Hamburgers.
Let's do in the cheese world.
Feta cheese is big, Dave.
Anything else?
Try the pepper jack.
Wow, this would spice up a bacon cheeseburger. Give me 1,000 pounds, sliced.
Okay.
And spice it up he did. It's Wendy's new Pepper Jack Bacon Cheeseburger, a quarter pound of fresh ground beef, spicy pepper jack cheese, 3 strips of bacon, and the perfect sauce.
Great cheeseburger, Dave.
Sure beats feta.
Sure beats feta.
I just said that.
Come try Wendy's new Pepper Jack Bacon Cheeseburger today. Dave has a dilemma. What to put on Wendy's new bacon cheeseburger?
Hey, something mild. Play it safe. Come on, don't be a wimp. Give it some zing. Oh no, Gouda would be nice. Spice it up. How about pepper jack? Oh my.
Well, Dave started cooking. A quarter pound of fresh ground beef, bacon, the perfect sauce, and a slice of pepper jack cheese for a bacon cheeseburger that's really spicy.
Oh, Dave, be careful. Mind your own business. Attaboy.
Wendy's new Pepper Jack Bacon Cheeseburger.
Gotta be the cheese.
In the old days, plumbing was pretty easy to understand. But now, at Home Hardware, we have over 900 neighborhood stores with thousands of plumbing parts. We can help you solve just about any plumbing problem, from the simplest to the biggest. And if things get out of hand, we can help you there too.
Great price, friendly advice at Home Hardware.
Did you remember to turn off the tap?
Introducing the new Civic hatchback from Honda. The best new economy car of the year. So easy to get into and in and out of.
Lee Jansen reeled off 6 straight birdies on his way to a 9-under 63 on Thursday. That's good enough for a one-shot lead. After the opening round of the Doral Ryder Open, 33 players failed to qualify or at least complete the opening round due to fog. The best speed skaters in the world are in Calgary this weekend for a World Cup meet that begins on Friday. They'll be racing around the speed skating oval at the University of Calgary. This oval really brings out the speed in speed skating, and that suits the Canadian team just fine. Lisa Bose reports.
The oval ice is as fast as ever, and the facility is ready to handle close to 200 of the world's best skaters. In most cases, the all-rounders and the sprinters are separated in competitions, but not for this event, which means great exposure for the Canadian long-distance specialists, who typically take a back seat to the successful sprinters. But this weekend, they are expecting some results. Watch for 3-year veteran Ingrid Lipa, Canada's best all-round skater, and Neil Marshall, currently tied for the overall lead in the men's 1,500 meters.
I know we did so many good races already here, but now with everyone else we want to do even better to show them it's not just a fluke that we did well. So I hope everybody keeps the nerves together and just skate like they can skate.
As for the shorter distances, look for Canadian record holder Mike Ireland in the 500 meters, while the men's 1,000 meters should be interesting. 4 Canadians have a shot at the world record. While on the women's side, Catriona Lemay-Doan, world champion in the 500 meters, hopes to finish her breakthrough year in style.
I have a pretty good grasp on second spot, but I'm not going to worry about that. It's nice to be on the ice, the fastest ice in the world, and I'd love to do a personal best. We'll have to see how I feel on the weekend.
As for Susan Ock, this was an off year. The Olympic silver medalist experiencing knee problems in addition to the pressure of repeating her record-breaking performance of last year. Not to mention the expectations that came with the retirement of American rival Bonnie Blair. Ock is in a regrouping mode, looking ahead to Nagano.
I'm fortunate it happened this year. I mean, if it had been last year, I would have missed the opportunity to compete with Bonnie all year, and next year it's pre-Olympic year, and that would be pretty stressful. So, I have a pre-Olympic year and then the Olympics, so I have a ton of time to recover from that.
This final World Cup event of the season gets underway Friday morning. We are expecting several world records to be broken here. The Canadians with a great shot at a few of them, and I will have daily reports for you on Sports Desk throughout the entire weekend. Lisa Bose, TSN, Calgary.
The CIAU named its top players for men's volleyball on Thursday. Laval's Francois Bilodeau, who has been a first-team All-Canadian 3 straight years, has been named the Player of the Year. Manitoba's Dan Lewis was named Rookie of the Year, and Sherbrooke's Glenn Hogue was the top coach. Meanwhile, the women are down to the Final Four as UBC, Laval, Winnipeg, and Alberta all advanced with quarterfinal victories. Laval will face UBC while Winnipeg faces Alberta in semifinal action on Friday. And a reminder, TSN will be the place to be for coverage. Women's final on Saturday, men's final on Sunday. Big weekend of volleyball. And that is our show. For everybody at TSN, I'm Michael Landsberg. Thanks a lot for joining us on TSN Sports Desk, and we'll see you next time. So long.
TSN is on the internet. You can visit us at our website, www.tsn.ca, or you can contact Sports Desk directly at sportsdesk@tsn.ca. You can also stay completely informed by calling the TSN Sports Info line at 1-900-451-6636.
This is TSN.
From Winnipeg, Manitoba, this is TSN, Coast to Coast.
This is TSN Inside Sports. Originally, it was game number 806 on the NHL schedule, but now it's much more than that. St. Louis at Vancouver means Wayne Gretzky's debut. Mike Keenan, the coach, gets to utilize the asset provided by Mike Keenan, the GM. Welcome to TSN Inside Sports. I'm Dave Hodge. There are 21 games left on the St. Louis Blues regular season schedule, and the 20 that follow tonight's game in Vancouver offer the same 2 points to the winner as this one does. But still, it can be said that this one is special. This one is Wayne Gretzky's first game for St. Louis. He wants to make an immediate impact, and the next 20 should go better if the first one goes well. For that matter, a win tonight would give the Blues a 3-point edge over the Canucks for fourth place in the NHL's Western Conference. Gretzky was not doing any extended interviews on this game day, but you will be seeing him and hearing from him later tonight on TSN as our pregame coverage begins at 9:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Pacific. You get your first chance to analyze the latest trade made by Mike Keenan, who had already shaped the Blues roster, reshaped it to his own specifications about as quickly as you can turn over 20-some players, and then came the Gretzky deal to put an entirely different spin on the transformation. Here's Rod Smith to outline how the St. Louis Blues have become the Mike Keenan Blues.
Mike Keenan inherited a St. Louis Blues team that had won 7 more games than it lost in '93-94, but then failed to win a playoff game. The Blues were swept in 4 straight by the Dallas Stars. That team featured twin 50-goal shooters Brett Hull and Brendan Shanahan, playmaking center Craig Janney, and goalie Curtis Joseph. Only Hull remains from that group, and in fact, only 2 other members of the entire team have survived the ongoing Keenan purge. They are defenseman Murray Barron and tough guy Basil McRae, who's been on the injured list for much of this season. Janney played only 8 games under Keenan, and after a public squabble with the coach, Janney quit the team, later to be traded to San Jose for defenseman Jeff Norton. Like several other players who've been acquired and then sent packing by Keenan in less than a year, Norton is now an Edmonton Oiler in a deal that brought Igor Kravchuk and Ken Sutton to St. Louis. Shanahan and Joseph helped the Blues to a good regular season in the year of the lockout, but again, St. Louis suffered a first-round playoff defeat. Not good enough for Keenan, who lowered the boom on 2 of the fan favorites. Shanahan was shipped to Hartford for young defenseman Chris Pronger, who continues to be a Keenan project that may or may not pan out. Joseph became property of the Edmonton Oilers when, in a roundabout way, he was used as payment for the signing of free agent Shane Corson. Other free agent signings dominated the rest of Keenan's summertime '95 makeover. Goalie Grant Fuhr and forwards Dale Hawerchuk, Jeff Courtnall, and Brian Noonan were added to the St. Louis payroll. Peter Zezel, Mike Hudson, and Tony Twist or others signed from the open market by Keenan. Like Noonan, Zezel, and Hudson, who played under Keenan elsewhere, current Blues Stefan Matteau, Greg Gilbert, and Adam Creighton seem to follow Iron Mike wherever he goes. They all played for him in Chicago, and Matteau, Gilbert, Hudson, Noonan, and defenseman Jay Wells helped Keenan's New York Rangers win the Stanley Cup 2 years ago. J.J. Dagno and Rob Pearson are other St. Louis Blues acquired in Keenan trades. Oh, and one other player who'll be in action tonight, Wayne Gretzky. It seems apparent that the biggest of all the Keenan deals in St. Louis will have a lot to say about how all the others turn out. For TSN Inside Sports, I'm Rod Smith.
A big night for Wayne Gretzky and for all the other St. Louis Blues, acquired by Mike.
Gretzky hopes to make Vancouver feel the Blues in his St. Louis debut. The new Flames look to ignite Calgary's playoff.
The St. Louis Blues believe that Wayne Gretzky can once again be a dominant player. They believe it, and they are banking their season on it. Thursday night, they got their first look at Gretzky in blue as the great one made his St. Louis debut in Vancouver. One of those really exciting nights. You just wanted to watch it and be a part of it. Wayne Gretzky looking sharp in his number 99 blue. Let's see how sharp he plays. Brett Hull, got to love this, and certainly Gretzky's got to love playing beside Brett Hull, and those two are a factor early on in the first period. It's already 1-0 for St. Louis. Brett Hull up to Stephane Matteau, up to Wayne Gretzky, and yes, a flair for the dramatic. He's always had it, and he buries it. 2-0 St. Louis. Gretzky scores in his debut game, but the Canucks come right back. Gorgeous deflection by Alexander McGillney. With that goal, he becomes just the second Canuck ever to score 50 in a season. The Canucks look for the equalizer with the third. Scott Walker drops it for Martin Chelina, but watch Grant Fuhr squeeze the pads. Fuhr played a huge game for St. Louis, but he can't stop them all. Third period, late, time winding down. McGillney spins and fires. What a player he is. Beautiful shot, top shelf, score tied at 2. This one went into overtime, and it ended in a tie, but Wayne Gretzky with a goal in his debut looks like he's pretty happy. And I guess, well, he should be. St. Louis and Vancouver play to a 2-2 tie. Much of the excitement was generated in the first period of this game. Wayne Gretzky, in case you're wondering how much Keenan played him, 29 minutes and 16 seconds. That's just under half the game, 33 shifts. The other story of the game was Alexander McGillney, the second Canuck to reach the 50-goal plateau in a season. Pavel Bure was the first. A great night at GM Place, and let's get the wrap-up from our David Bratty in Vancouver.
This was a game that was supposed to belong to Wayne Gretzky. Trouble was, nobody explained that to Alexander McGillney, who scored his 50th and 51st goals of the season to share a big chunk of the spotlight.
Yeah, well, it was a fun night. You know, everybody was pumped, you know, play against Gretzky. You know, we kind of came out a little flat, you know, and typical St. Louis Vancouver game. Couple goals behind and then coming back.
Well, I loved every minute of it. I really enjoyed the pace and the intensity level, and players play hard, and I really had a lot of fun out there. I mean, it's something I look forward to. You know, as I said earlier, it's been a tough 2 days, and to get the first one out of the way and get the first goal out of the way, I feel really pretty good. It's been emotionally draining the last couple of days, and I don't care how long you played in the league, and I don't care what you've done. You know, when all eyes are on you, it's so nerve-wracking. I don't like to fail, and I don't like to let people down, and Mike Keenan has stepped forward, and the Blues have stepped forward, and I'm going to do the best I can to help them win.
It's been an amazing couple days, you know, quite a high getting Gretzky over here, and then with all the media and the attention, it's been weird, but we're happy to have him here, and we're excited. It was nice to see him get a goal tonight. I was happy for him, and he's going to be a big part of our team. He's going to, you know, he's our leader, and it was just exciting to be out in the ice with him, but like you said, I think it's nice to get it over with. Now we can get back to playing hockey.
Gretzky and the Blues now head off to Edmonton for yet another showcase game and another opportunity for a feeding frenzy for both the fans and the media. David Pratt, TSN, Vancouver.
Wow. Maybe the best way to describe the Flames game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Wow. This was the Flames' first game since the surprising deal, which saw them send Phil Housley to the Devils for suspiciously little, but Calgary didn't seem to be lacking anything on Thursday night, and this guy is going to make him forget Phil Housley, but Tommy Albalin is a solid defenseman. Classic. Gary Roberts already 1-0 for Calgary. Watch Roberts take the cross-check in the back, but he gets up, works his way towards the net. Now watch the excellent backhand feed. This is superb isolation. Roberts in front, then goes forehand, backhand, sweeps it in. Beautiful play. 14th goal, 2-0 Calgary. Second period, the Pens can't clear. T-Top moves in, nifty backhand move. 3-0 Calgary. The Pens trailed at 4-0, 5-0. Eddie Johnson goes, you know, there's 29.